So I hope because of 1 hour delay, you had some more time to go through Java stuff. So here, I'll just tell you as usual, what are going to be today's topics. But before that, let me know about the assignment status. Have you started working on employee organization based assignment? Everyone complete also? Okay, great. Those who have completed, very good. But as usual, those who have not completed it yesterday will be completing that part today and then continuing with today's topics. How about others? Others also have started. Okay, so all these, whatever issues are there for the assignment, we will do it in the lab session, not now. Okay, so fine. So as usual, first 1.5 hours you will get for pending assignment and then you will continue with the rest. Okay. Mute yourself, guys. Why you are unmuting yourself, I don't know. Don't unmute yourself at all. It causes a lot of disturbance. Okay, so what are we going to do today is, we are going to revise interfaces and some things extra I just want to show you. So that we will cover in interfaces, such as will interface cause diamond issue or applying interface to the situation, to the scenario, we'll do that. Then I'm going to talk about, actually I will say this first. You know about all other access specifiers in detail. Which access specifiers we are talking about? Private, default, protected, and public. But I have not really talked about protected access specifier because I was waiting for inheritance to begin and complete. So today I'll tell you about protected access specifier. Then a very important discussion regarding object classes, another method. Which method of the object class you already know? Which is the object class method you are already familiar with? ToString. So today you'll know the another very important method called as equals. And then after finishing these small points, the main topic of today is going to be exception handling. So that is what is the today's course. So let's start with a everyday revision. Here is the time you're supposed to, confirm whether whatever you have understood is right or wrong. So start. What is an interface? If anyone asks you, what is it? I hope you have gone through the yesterday's readmes because all these answers are already mentioned. Exactly. So it is something from which classes can be developed. So as a standard question, standard answer, you can think of it as a blueprint of the class. So will you be deciding about the interface first or the implementation classes? Of course, the interface. The most important question is why? What is it? What are the reasons of Java introducing an interface? Anyone wants to tell me? There are 3 reasons. So anyone wants to tell me? It is a, no. Avoid diamond issue just does it by the way. So here, complete abstraction, 100% abstraction, or you can say complete abstraction. Java interfaces allows you complete abstraction. It is an alternative to your multiple inheritance because Java doesn't allow you multiple inheritance through classes. So here, this gives you a solution to have multiple inheritance, alternative to multiple inheritance, or I would say a solution. Solution for multiple interface, multiple inheritance, I meant. And the third one is, what do I mean by that? When I say solution to multiple inheritance, can one interface extend from multiple interfaces? Yes. And can one class implement multiple interfaces? Yes, again, right? So that is what we talk about it, or that is what we said yesterday. And then a most important part is separation. So how is that separation defined? A loose coupling. So when I say loose coupling, what does it imply is total separation or complete separation between 2 things. So which 2 things? Separation between, yes. What is to be done? Separation between what, which is nothing but the specifications. And these specifications, how do we impose? Using abstract behavior. So abstract methods. So all you see typically in an interface is the public abstract methods. So complete separation between what and how. How means how a particular problem. What is a problem? What is the service required? And what is the implementation? So that how is nothing but the implementation. And when you say specification abstract methods, where do you add them? Do you add them in interface or implementing class? Where do you add the this thing? Of course, in the interface. So here you add it in the interface, and the implementation, you leave it in the implementation classes. So since these two entities are totally separate, you achieve a complete separation between what is to be done versus how it is to be done. Okay, so these are the main reasons Java interfaces are so popular. I'm just introducing them to you, and you will see throughout your collection framework, the first major topic of core Java is collection framework, data structures. So at that time, you'll see it is full of interfaces. Later also, you're going to come across interfaces very often. So it's an important topic. So now tell me, we are sitting in JDK 11. They are talking about JDK 17 as the next LTS version. But I'm talking about till somebody's again unmuted. Please don't do that. So till JDK 7, can you tell me what does a interface mainly typically contain? You know the answer. There are data members and there are methods. So can you tell me the data members when you declare, which are the three implicit keyword the compiler adds? Answer is standard. So yes, very right. Public, static, and final. So do you have to add these these keywords? Absolutely not. You just declare these data members. So the moment you see this, you know that already. So all you can declare in an interface is constants, static, public static constants. So yesterday somebody asked me abstract class versus interface. I've given in README, still I explained. So definitely go through that. In abstract classes, you can declare static as well as non-static, non-final variables. In interfaces, you cannot. And most importantly, what are the keywords about methods? Methods are always public. Which are the two keywords? Public and abstract. Okay. So this is the story till Java 7. What Java it brings to the table is later when I discuss after collection framework. Typically, I discuss Java it new features. So at that time, you'll realize. Okay. So here, start answering. This is complete revision. So participation has to be better, not just 10 out of 200. It should be larger proportion. So I'm asking you about relationship between interface and implementation class. It's a yes, no, and keyword related question. Can one class implement from multiple interfaces? It's a Boolean question. Of course, the answer is yes. And which is the keyword we use for that? Which is the keyword you use? Of course, the keyword is implements. You got that? Now, can one interface extend from multiple interfaces? Yes. And which is the keyword we use for that is extends. I hope you have been doing your daily revision by going through the sequence document and the associated readmes. And then you are supposed to go through the code samples. And last thing you are supposed to do is assignment. If you follow all these 4 point-based program, then you can really excel in Java. Or not only Java, in any technology. Next one. Can one class extend from multiple classes? Is it possible? No. Multiple inheritance. Since through classes, since it causes an ambiguity, and Java being a simpler version than C++, in C++ it is allowed. It doesn't allow you this. Can one interface be implemented by multiple implementation classes? Yesterday I gave you an example. You are saying no. Guys, you have to do your revision correctly. when I'm giving you so much in writing? Of course, the answer is yes. Yesterday, I showed you bank as a RB as an interface, and bank interface can be implemented by HDFC, ICICI, Bank of Baroda, your State Bank of India. So answer is yes. Okay, since somebody said no, I have to ask. So when you have these multiple implementation classes, what will be common between all these multiple implementation classes? Tell me. What will be common to all these multiple implementation classes? Of course, interface. That's not a question. Yeah, the specifications, implementation, both or neither. What will be same? Answer is specifications will be common. So you will have the same methods and method declaration, I mean, and the method definition, that is the how part. What part will be constant? Constant means common because that's a method declaration. Abstract method declaration you will be inheriting from the interface. But how do you want to implement it? That can differ, that can modify, that can change from class to class. Next one, I've not written it, I'll add. Can implementation class access interface constants directly? When I say directly, I mean without using interface name dot member name. It's a Boolean question, yes or no. Can your implementation class directly access? All these are the popular questions. So I take so much time in revising all this. Of course, answer is yes. And how about can a non-implementation class, that is an unrelated class, it's not related to the interface, such as tester or unrelated class, can non-implementing class access the interface constants directly? Tell me, yes or no? Let me see what you're saying. Of course, the answer is no, but it is a public static final constant. So how can it access it? It can access it as interface name dot member name. Or if you use static import, that is import static package name dot interface name dot start, then you can do it directly. All of you are clear? So these, when we talk in interfaces, you have to be absolutely clear with this. So yesterday we had already set up few demos, basic demos. So now we are going to go ahead and understand the interface more. Because just and then of course we are going to apply to some the same shape scenario. We'll talk about it. So first demo is, I'll continue in today's day 7. Can one class implement multiple interfaces? Answer is yes. So that is what we are going to try. So let's say here, if you want, you can code along with me. So here I'm creating Java project. If you are creating along with me, you give a suffix as lab or practice or your own code or something. So I'm calling it as day 7.1. Finish. And what is the point we are discussing? Can one class implement multiple interfaces is the point we are discussing. Okay. Without just talking about it, is always best to look into the code. So here, let me just take it so that I don't have to write from scratch. So here, just take a look at it. So what I'm doing is, I'm going to keep some things. Only one interface I'm keeping, rest all I'm going to write with you from scratch. So observe, I've got day 7.1. I've got a SRC, package P1, and printable.java. So everyone knows what does an interface consist of. It has a data member if you want to add to it, public static final that is constant, and this is your this is your abstract method, public abstract method. Now, can I declare another interface here? Of course, yes. So here I'm adding another interface. How do you add that? Click on the package. Click on the drop-down list and choose interface. So suppose I create it as a computable, so that computable interface represents the functionality which can compute any operation on two double operands. You can say double operand, integer operand, I don't really care. Some numeric operands. So here, see this interface. And here, let me add a method. So, when I say method, it is automatically, implicitly public and abstract. And here, I'll say compute. And since it is, if the two operands are double, what is going to be the result type? I said, if the two operands are double, what will be the result type? Of course, a double. So the return type I'm giving it is this, and I'm saying compute. So that compute can be, add, subtract, multiply, divide, any arithmetic operation. And here I'm getting two operands, double A, double B. So what is being discussed here is only the abstract method, but how to compute or which operation to perform is not yet specified. Is everyone clear? Is everyone clear about these two interfaces, printable and computable? Okay, I just want to show you the interface points. Okay, so now can one class implement the behavior from both of these interfaces? Answer is yes. That is the point. That see, if you follow the sequence, I have written the sequence in the same manner, and the same thing I'm going to show you. So let us create an implementation class. Let me call it as my implementation class. Okay, and I just want to convince you that I can have implements. This is an alternative to your multiple inheritance, which was not possible in classes. Can I see here printable, comma, computable? Allowed or not allowed? Of course, it is allowed. So here I can say printable. I don't have to import the packages, guys, because as you can notice, I have written everything in the same package. Okay, comma, computable. So anyone wants to tell me why there is a compiler error? Or okay, don't tell me why. Tell me the solution. If I want to solve this compiler error, what is it I'll have to do? Okay, you are telling me make the class abstract. I'm not ready to. You're right, but I don't want to. I want to write the implementation. So what is it I'll have to do? How many methods I'll have to implement? Two methods. Are you understanding? So supply the implementation. So which is the method I'll have to implement? This print method. Which is the other method I'll have to implement? Compute. So that is what I have written in one of my readmes. If the implementation class, if any class is implementing from multiple interfaces, either label is abstract, but if you know how to implement it, you don't want to make it as an abstract class. So how to make it as a concrete is equal to non-abstract class, implement all the inherited abstract methods and give the implementation. So which is the annotation? To either override a functionality which is inherited from the superclass or implement the abstract methods, which is the same annotation we have at override. Exactly. So you don't have a different annotation to learn, and the rules are also the same. So anyone wants to tell me. So let us start with printable. So what is the access specifier I should use? What is the rule regarding access specifier? Same or wider. But which is the access specifier which is implicitly added there? Public. There's nothing wider than public. So public void print. And here, suppose I'm saying string a message. So here we had already implemented this yesterday. So it should not be like this. So I'm just saying printing a message. And which message? Here I'm showing. Okay. But still you can see compiler is not happy. So which is the other method I'll have to implement, guys? Everyone knows the answer. Compute is the method I'll have to implement. Are you all understanding? So one way is you type it out. But after you get a field, can I generate it from ID? Answer is yes. How? See this. I'm not going to repeat this step 10 times. So be observant. Note it somewhere. That is why I encourage you to code along. If you are not doing it, you'll have to do it in the lab. Source. Can you see the option here? Override / implement methods. Can you respond? Everyone can see the check this source override implement methods. And here it will already detect that which is the method which is not yet implemented from computable interface compute. And of course, because any class is superclass is implicit superclass is object, it is asking you, do you want to override any of the stuff such as clone, equals, finalize, etc. So currently I don't want to do that. Are you understanding? This is the dialog box for overriding as well as implementing. So since the superclass is an object, I can override all these public methods, because if the method is private, static or final, it cannot be overridden. So these are all non-private, non-static, non-final methods which one can override. But currently we are not doing that. So I'm collapsing it. But which is the method I have to implement is compute. And as you can see, it generates the code automatically, so that what is the point of ID to develop, to do your development faster. So you don't have to waste your precious time writing all this code. You can just decide the business logic or that functionality. So suppose I say, I just want to, I want to keep it simple because the concept is interface, not the actual operation. So I can say return simple addition A plus B. Oh, sorry. Is everyone clear? Are you understanding this? Shubham, I have already said, you guys are little impatient, I guess. Here, already there is a second one. So focus on the things which I'm explaining first. Get the full understanding of that first, instead of, because I have already arranged it in a proper manner. Okay, so wait for a while. So first understand whether one class can implement from multiple interfaces. So focus on the topic instead of thinking of ahead. Then you lose this point also, and then you don't understand the next point also. Okay, so this is perfectly working solution. Now unless until you test it, you can't really confirm whether it is working or not. Test it with a main. And here I can do either, what is it called? Direct referencing, indirect referencing. I have shown you both. So if I say printable, let's say print, or I can say printable as the variable name itself. And here I can say, or can I say new my implementation class? Why there is no compiler error, guys? This is very important. So focus here instead of something else. This is nothing but upcasting. My implementation class is a printable because of that implements keyword. So thanks to this upcasting, you're going up the hierarchy. Interfaces are the super type, implementation class at the lower type, lower level. So is works it out. And when I say printable dot print, you can see that this method will be called. So we had already done this. Now, if I say, what was that? Computable. Computable. Suppose I create a reference of the type computable. Here, when I say computable reference, I can say this, or I can directly do that also. Anyway, computable reference is equal to new my implementation class. Can do that. Again, indirect referencing. Whenever you're talking about upcasting, downcasting, we are doing the indirect referencing. And I can say ref dot compute, and the numbers are not important, just the operation is important. So here compute is returning me the result. So let me put the result in on the console, and here I'm saying result plus. So just wanted to show you that what is the point to take home is, can one class implement multiple interface and multiple different functionalities? What's the answer? Yes or no? Answer is very much yes. So one demo, focus on one thing. So this is your demo of one class implementing multiple interfaces. Are we all 100% clear so far? Is everyone clear with the demo and with the point? Okay. So now move on to the next popular question. So here, tell me, why Java doesn't allow you multiple inheritance with the classes, with superclass and subclass. Did not hear my question? I said, why Java does not allow you multiple inheritance via classes? Because your ambiguity issue. Diamond is just because of that shape. I've shown you, I have given you the diagram also. So the problem occurs because, why it occurs? It occurs because when you have, let us say, a particular class extending from multiple superclasses, you don't know, and if those superclasses have the same behavior means same method, then you don't know which is the implementation which you are accessing. I'm not sure because people are not using the correct terms here. So let me see this just a second. The diamond issue. See, the diamond issue is equal to nothing but the ambiguity issue. So this is what I had shown you a couple of days back when we were dealing with inheritance with the classes. Class A having a method show. Can it be overridden? It's a public method, non-static, non-private, non-final. Of course, it can be overridden. So here, class B and class C has overridden it, and they are giving their different functionality, overriding form, modified functionality. So if it is allowing, if your Java compiler was allowing you to write class D extends class B and C, you don't have a issue. I mean, you don't have a clarity whether you are inheriting this show function or whether you are inheriting this show function. Are we all clear about the ambiguity caused by the multiple superclasses? Is everyone 100% clear here? Okay, so I will know whether you are clear or not if you can answer the second question. So the question I'm asking, just a second now. So the question I'm asking is, what exactly is causing the ambiguity? Is it the method declaration of the show method? Is it that duplicate declaration, or is it that duplicate implementation which is causing the ambiguity? Are you understanding? It is the multiple implementations, and then you don't know which implementation to inherit. Are you understanding? I'll make the statement again because people are, thinking of different things different times. I said, because you have inherited two different forms of show method, one is SOP2, one is SOP3, that is just a token. Because of the multiple implementations, inherited implementations available, you come across this ambiguity issue. 100% of you understood me? Okay, yes or no? So now, when I show you a class implementing multiple interfaces, but having the duplicate method, will it cause the ambiguity or will it not cause the ambiguity? I'll repeat the statement again. I said, we are going to set it up. We are not just going to discuss it. We are going to write the code in a minute. I said, when your class is implementing, I'm going to write it in a minute. I just want to see whether you can understand the question and the answer. When I say I have a class and that class is implementing from two interfaces having the duplicate method. So will it cause the ambiguity or will it not cause the ambiguity? Why it won't cause the ambiguity? Your answer is right, by the way. Why it won't cause the ambiguity? Answer, I mean this. I want a better answer, little detailed answer, Rishikesh. You are on the right track. Because all that interfaces contain, is it containing, are you inheriting the declaration or implementation? When you say you are implementing, you are only inheriting the abstract method declaration. So if you have even 10 different interfaces having this duplicate method declaration, how does it matter? Yes, Mohit. So all you are going to write is one implementation method. So there are zero chances of causing the ambiguity. So now let us, yeah, so that is the point. So here, let's confirm it with example. So let's have the next package here. you're supposed to go through that. And after this thing, seeing your, what do you say, feedback and all that, maybe I will revise such some important code samples in the lab. I don't know when I say revise classwork, what exactly you are doing. If you're not doing the revision correctly, you will have the issues on the next day. So I think I'll have to participate in the lab revision also, looks like. Anyway, we'll talk about it in the lab session. So now let me create a simple interfaces, two interfaces. Let's say A and B. So here I'll declare, but when I start a topic, I want to take it completely. So I will show you not just the, okay, one at a time. I was going to say duplicate method and duplicate data member. So, but let's do one at a time. So let me take an example of void show. What are the two implicit keywords it has added implicitly? Public and abstract. Everyone knows that. You got it? Now see what I'm doing. Oh, I did it in the same package. Sorry. I'll just create another package. This is a package symbol. So I'll create P2 and I'll just move this A.java, drag and drop to P2. Okay. So I don't want to do too many things in one package. So package P2 has this. So here, observe, I'm just copying A into B. So let me call it as B. So observe carefully. What is it we have got? A.java having a method void show. I have got B.java having the method void show. So it is a duplicate method declaration. Understood completely so far? Interface A, interface B. Okay. Now, if I sit down and write a class, so let me call it as my implementation class, some name. Okay. And here, if I say here, implements A, and then if I say implements A comma B, okay, of course you will have compiler error. So anyone wants to tell me, okay, I don't want to make the class abstract. So don't give me that solution that make the class abstract. So tell me, what is it I'll have to do? In order to make this concrete and error should disappear, what should I do? Define the method, obviously. But how many times? See, somebody Rohit told me define both the methods. Guys, are there both the method you declare? There are two declarations, but maximum how many implementation can come from that? Exactly once. So how do you confirm what I'm saying is correct or not? Do it. So at the rate override, I could have done it from the source, but I want to show you. And which is the access specifier? Public void show in show. Tell me, what is the observation? Even when you have duplicate behavior, same method declared in different interfaces, will you do that logically as a sensible programmer? Never. Why do you want to cause a confusion? But people give you in exam and in technical interviews all so many code and ask you what will happen. So I'm just preparing you for that. Okay, and I have written this in that README yesterday. Somebody was asking me, so I told him that, okay, wait for tomorrow and all that. Okay, so tell me, how many method implementations we have? No, we have two method declarations, Abhinav, but the method implementation can be only same. So have you understood that even if you have a duplicate method declaration, will it cause the ambiguity in the implementation class? Yes or no? Of course not. But, and the reason is important. People definitely ask you why. Because what is it you are inheriting? Is it an abstract method declaration or is it an implementation? Answer is you are just inheriting that abstract method declaration, but the implementation is only one. So this will never cause you any problem. But if you mess it up further, just observe. Okay. So because this will touch base upon your method overloading also. So this part, I hope everyone has understood. Now, if I say like this, okay. So here, now everyone understood about the exact duplicate method declaration. Here I'm saying something. Anyone wants to tell me? Compile time error in the implementation class or no? You can observe and you can tell me. Of course, yes. So now As far as compiler is concerned, how many methods we have? Yes, please. We have two distinct methods with different signature. So take a look at this. Are you understanding my point? You just take the cursor, guys. You're sitting in an ID. It becomes so easy. Just take the cursor here and it tells you the type my implementation class must implement the inherited abstract method a.show with the string. So unless and until you actually go ahead and override / implement, this is not overriding, this is implementing the method, compiler will not keep quiet. So I'll say in show with message. No, that point is not implementation. I'm just trying to prepare you for your interviews and whatever exams and all that. Okay. So of course, it is going to sound little advanced. Is everyone clear? 100% clear? You're supposed to, when I say you explore, you revise in this, I seriously don't know what you do when I give you 1.5 hours and all just for classwork revision. This is what you are supposed to recall along with the readmes and all. Okay, the last one. Now if I say, see this, okay, let's do that. So this was one of it. I'll take it in the separate package because, you know, I want you to understand, not feel confused. So let me make another one. So many things you can understand with simple code samples. Okay, so just a second, Control-Shift-W, I'm closing all, so I don't get mixed up in earlier package. Here, now observe what I'm doing. Okay, so here, and I'm saying here something. Okay, so observe and then answer. What is it I have got? Interface a show method returning a string. I have got interface B, a show method with void show. And when you sit down and write the implementation class, what will happen? Clue is method overloading. So think like, okay, when you say error, you have to be specific, guys. Compile time error or runtime error? Of course, a compile time error. So sit back and revise method overloading. So tell me, here now, void show is one, another one is string show. So same method name, same signature, different return types. So tell me, during method overloading, yes, Pushkaraj, is return type considered or is it ignored? Of course, it is ignored. So now see the problem. The problem is in front of you. Okay, so I'll just keep this here. So see the problem. Oh, I'll remove the whole thing. Okay, so now of course you have a problem. And here if I say source, override implement methods, added that. Okay, so one thing is working fine. So see, from that B, from that A, I have implemented the method. But are the compiler errors gone? Of course not. So take the cursor here and see the return type is incompatible with b.show. So are you understanding? This is a classic ambiguity problem which we have seen in method overloading. So let me ask you a question. Can you write an implementation class implementing two methods having same name, same signature, but different return types? Is it possible or not possible? You cannot resolve that ambiguity. So if you say, okay, fine, I will do it. See this, you know, everything that what I say has to be tried and tested. And if you say here, okay, so of course there won't be any returning here. So see, so are you understanding the point? Guys, please mute yourself. Every now and then you have to mute you. What is wrong with you? Don't do that all the time. Here. So I have got from a string show, implemented it here. Then here I have got another one, void show, implemented it here. But now can you tell me why compiler is cribbing? Yes, please. Why compiler is cribbing? No clue? No. Different return types I know, but what is it causing? It is causing a classic ambiguity, isn't it? So take a this thing, what is it called? Cursor here, and it tells you duplicate method show in implementation class. So can you write in a class two methods having same name, same signature, but differing return types? Of course not. That causes classic ambiguity. So this is the, see, when you have written the code, when you have tested the code, you will understand. So I'm going to share this code with you, which has a compiler error. So don't ask me or don't get confused in the lab session that why there is a compiler error. It is intentional to tell you the rule, to show you the rule. Okay. So this was about duplicate method declaration. If you give the differing argument, let me ask you a question. Wake up and answer. Can you write an implementation class which implements two interfaces having same method name, different signature, and return type is could be anything, same or different? Possible or not possible? Answer is yes. I showed you the earlier example. Somebody is still saying no after showing the example. Answer is yes. And if you're still confused, in the lab session, when I said revise, play with the code. I've shown you that example. So here, a.java had a show with a string message. b.java had a show without string message. And implementation class, you could add that. Okay. So that is about your ambiguity or non-ambiguity issues. This is so the point is, we started the whole discussion with the fact, what will happen if you have two interfaces having the identical method declaration? Zero issues. It will not cause the diamond problem. Okay. So now let me make the last copy of it. And then you go ahead. Then we'll go ahead with the next one. So just observe what I'm doing. Focus carefully. A.java void show. Fine. Now I'm bringing in what will happen if you have the duplicate data member. Okay. So I'm saying int. Why I'm putting it all uppercase? Because it is a constant. Okay. So here it is. Fine. I'll just remove this implementation class because I need your answer. And then b.java. I'll remove this b.java and just copy. So here, keep observing. And here in b.java, I'm keeping the duplicate method declaration and the same name of the constant having different value. Understood what I did so far? Don't feel lost with two-liner code. It's the 7th day of Java. A.java, note it down. Those who are not writing, just make a note on a piece of paper. What is there in A.java? Int data 100, void show. When I say B.java, what is it I have got? Int data 200, duplicate method declaration. Everyone is clear so far? Yes or no? I've not written the implementation class. So here, let us write a implementation class. My implementation class. Okay. And here, if I say implements A, B, tell me what should I do to make this as a concrete class without a compiler error? What is it I'll have to do? I've done this. I've said this multiple times. I want to hear it from you. What is it I'll have to do? Simple question I'm asking. Yeah, don't just say define, Rohit. You have to tell me which method. Don't just say implement method. Give me a full answer where I can reach you. So you will have to implement the show method. Absolutely right. When you say this clearly, then only I'm going to accept your answer. Okay. So how many implementations I will have for the show method? 1 or 2? Everyone understands that, right? So here you'll say why you are saying this, because we already know it. Wait for a while. Okay. So this is your show method. And I will just write, as you know very well, doesn't cause ambiguity so far. Okay. So now answer the question. Can implementation class directly access interface constant? I'm trying to speak slow. Answer is yes. Okay. So here Now, if you see, I want to display it plus data. See, and observe and conclude. You definitely immediately get compile time error. Are you understanding? There's a red cross there. So why there is a compile time error? This is the ambiguity. Are you understanding? Not 100 double equal to 200 and all that. So here you have got a duplicate variable data. So your compiler does not know whether you are referring to A's data or B's data, causing classic ambiguity. Read it. Read the error message. It says the field data is ambiguous. So I'll ask you again. If you write a class implementing from multiple interfaces having duplicate method declaration, diamond issue, ambiguity issue, or no issue? Yes, Mohd, you are right. So answer is no issues. But if you have a duplicate data member, will it cause ambiguity? This is not called as diamond issue. So don't use wrong terms. Your impression will go down in the interviews. Of course, it will cause. And now, as he was saying, if I want to refer to A's data, how will I refer? Now I'll have to say A dot data. And if I want to refer to, let's say B's data, for some reason, I'll have to specify B dot data. If you say, no, I don't want to write A dot data, B dot data, at least you will have to say import static. So both the import statics will again cause the ambiguity. So suggestion here is, here you use A dot data, B dot data, and definitely things will go. Just I'll write a small tester to confirm what we said is correct or not. But see, these are the different aspects you should be knowing whenever you are learning the interfaces. So all I'm saying is I can have a ref equal to new my implementation class. Tell me, is it a direct referencing or indirect referencing? Same questions I asked you 100 times. So I definitely expect the understanding by 100 times at least. Indirect referencing. And this works because of my implementation class is a. It has implemented A. And when I say ref dot show here, the control goes to what? JVM. You know, compiler and JVM. JVM goes by the type of the object. So it will go to my implementation class. It will try to call the method. So it will print in show. What is the value of A's data? 100. What is the value of B's data? 200. And let's see if it works. So here it is asking me errors exist in required project. You remember there is a purposeful intentional error. So you can say proceed. Otherwise it will not proceed. And this is your proof of concept, POC. So you can have a duplicate method declaration, but the moment you add a duplicate data member, you will have to access it as interface name dot member name. Are we completely clear? Is everyone clear? If not, ask a question. I think I have taken possible scenarios, regarding ambiguity, but if you can think of more, try it in the lab, share your screen and ask the question. That is the best way to discuss a problem. That is the best way to understand. Where it is accessed after all this, Abhijit? Ref.show. That is where it is called. The control goes here. Just a minute ago I said, and here I said A.data and B.data. So I don't really understand you where it is accessed. So it is accessed in the show method. Where else? Are you clear or are you still lost? Answer, Abhijit. Are you clear? Okay. So now move on to the next topic. Next topic is not the word, next point. So the demo of, we are going to set up a demo of, can one interface, I'll just close the window, just give me a second. Okay. So can one interface extend from multiple interfaces? It's a Boolean question. Yes or no? Answer is yes. And then when you write the implementation class, what happens? We are going to see all of that. Okay, so this is the point we are going to discuss, but with example. I don't like to discuss anything theoretically. So here, let's create a new package for that. This is your, new interface I'm saying, which is the package we will reach P5. And here I'm saying something. Okay. Here I'm creating another interface. B.java. And in B.java, now I have shown you that duplication and all. So I don't want to like waste your time on the same thing. Something, let's say int data or int number. So I'll give the better name to the method is even. Okay, so if the number is even, the method should return true and false. Anyway, we are not writing the implementation really, but I'm just exposing this. So can you see that you have got a method, A interface having interface A having show method. You got a interface B having some other method. Of course, you can add additional methods. I'm not at all saying, okay, let me do that. Otherwise, you sometimes get a wrong impression. So let's say convert. So I'm converting one type of number to this mapping kind of a functionality. Double convert. And you are taking some number for conversion. Again, the idea is don't worry about that implementation. Understand the point. So can one interface contain multiple functionalities, multiple methods, method declaration? Of course, yes. So that is your A. This is your B. Now, tell me, can I write, listen to this. Which are the methods? Show, convert, and is even. Fine. Can I write an interface here? C, which says extends from A, comma B. Answer is 100% yes. And another question is, why it is not giving me any compiler error? Anyone wants to tell me? See, I told you, one interface can extend from multiple super interfaces, comma separated list. And why there is no compiler error here? Because interface itself is what? Pure abstract structure. So all you are inheriting is the abstract functionalities from the super interfaces. So anyone wants to tell me what are the names of the super interfaces and which is the sub interface? It is already abstract. Very right, Himanshu. A and B are super interfaces. And what is the name of the sub interface? C. Can the sub interface add additional methods? Of course, yes. So which methods I already have? Show and convert and this. So I can have my print method, something. Void print. And what I'm printing is a message. Okay. So I'm just trying to explain. I've written so many things in my README. So it is my job to explain it with examples, small examples. Okay. So this is it. Now, the last question. When I write a class, such as my implementation class, implements C. Can you tell me, in order to make it as a concrete class, which all methods I'll have to implement? Your choices are show, convert, is even, print, all of above, none of above, either of above. Answer is all of above. You understood me? Are you understanding? Because guys, keep the focus clear. Keep it simple. When you say implement interface, what you are inheriting is a simply abstract behavior. So what all abstract behaviors you are inheriting? One is print. The other one which is inherited from super interfaces is even. Other one is show and convert. So all four methods, that is all the methods coming from all the interfaces, you'll have to implement. So see this. So I'm writing, I'm going to do it with the IDE shortcut. So focus, P5. I'm clicking on a class. And here I'm giving the name as my implementation class. Everyone with me so far? Now, You should be very good observer in order to understand Java. See, superclass can be only one. One means you can of course replace it by something like fruit or whatever, but there can be at the most one superclass. But see the plural here. Can one class implement multiple interfaces? Answer is yes. So here there is a shortcut. So here there is a add button and I'll say which all interfaces I want to add. A. So which is that package? P5. So I said, okay. Do we want to add something more? Sorry. My mistake. I just wanted, sorry. I take it back. I did not want to do this. I want to add only C. That was the whole discussion, right? My mistake. C, and C is in the P5. So please observe, this implementation class is implicitly extending from universal superclass object and is trying to implement C. But C is extending from A and B. So you will see in a minute, so many methods implemented. So this is why, guys, people come to ID. They give you that generated code, and all you have to do is sit down and write the actual business logic. So what was the point I was trying to explain is, can one interface extend from multiple super interfaces? Yes or no? Answer is yes. And when you just implement such an interface, you have to implement all inherited abstract methods. Are we clear on this? Okay, the last point, application. Oh, sorry, this one. So today, I'm not going to, I'll just tell you, there is something called as, there are specialized forms of interfaces. So one is called as marker interface. Another one is called as functional interface. Am I going to show it today? Of course not. But I'll just tell you in one liner. Marker interfaces I'll discuss in the topic of serialization, cloning and all that. And functional interfaces, when we start learning Java at new features such as lambda expressions, functional programming and all that. But I should tell in one word or in one line. What is a marker interface? Marker interface is the interface which is empty. So it is called as empty, or it is also called by some authors as tag interface. So when I say empty interface, how many data members or how many methods will it contain? Answer is 0. So here, no data members and no methods. Okay. Everything, whenever you are asked a question in interviews, always supply with the example. So which are the famous marker interfaces? So when I take you to IO programming, there is something called as serializable. Okay. So the whole concept of serialization and deserialization revolves around this. And then when we talk about cloning in Java, there is a clonable interface. So these are the, what do you say, famous. There are more also, such as single thread model and all that. But this is sufficient for this. And what is the meaning of functional interface? Functional interface concept came from Java 8 onwards, because till Java 7, Java was supporting only object-oriented features. And the major change, addition from Java 8 was Java has adopted now functional programming. So what is that functional programming? What is that lambda expression and all that? We'll cover after I take your collection framework. This is too early for that. But when I say functional interface, you should know. Functional interface is the interface containing exactly one single abstract method. Okay. So the standard abbreviation, short form is SAM. So interface which is containing a single abstract method is the functional interface. And Java, it has introduced an annotation to check, or rather to indicate, whether the following interface is a functional interface or not. Okay, so let me ask you a question quickly. So tell me, you are looking at interface A. Is it a functional interface or is it not? It's a simple question. So you are saying yes. Guys, simple questions and you are giving me wrong answers. Check your understanding. I said the functional interface is the one which contains exactly single abstract method. How many abstract methods are there in front of you? 2. So how can you call this? How do you know what we are saying is correct or not? Try to add that annotation. Which is the annotation you know so far? At override. I'm showing you another annotation. The name of the annotation is @functional interface. It will not compile. See this. It is saying invalid annotation. A is not a functional interface. Why it is not a functional interface? Once again, because people are like giving wrong answers. Why it is not a functional interface, guys? Because it is contained, don't just say 2 methods. It has, yeah, you can say multiple abstract method, fine. So this is not possible. Next one. Tell me, is your interface B a functional interface or not a functional interface? Of course it is. How do you do the confirmation test? Just add that and see whether compiler agrees with you. Are you understanding? It is containing a single abstract method declaration, very much a functional interface. Where they are used, that is, I can't answer you now. Answer is, of course, functional programming, but later. How about the next one? Think and answer. Whatever is C functional interface or not? Yes or no? Correct answer is no. See that? You get an error. Somebody was saying no. People were saying yes, so they will understand that they were wrong. So some of you were saying no. Why no, guys? Madhuri, Rishikesh, Shraddha. The moment you say extends A comma B, what is it? It is inheriting. It is inheriting those abstract method declarations such as what? Show, convert, and is even. So is there a single abstract method here actually or multiple abstract methods? Multiple. See the error message. It says, of course, it is an invalid annotation. It is not a functional interface. So I just introduced you with the concept, but the real deal means the use case and all we will do very interestingly in a very interesting manner in functional programming. So tell me, what is a marker interface and what is a functional interface? Marker, first marker. What is a marker interface? Ananya, just now I said, where is your attention? I said the use of functional interfaces will be done in functional programming later. Here are my statements. Okay, so here, yes, the marker interface is an empty interface. The one without any functionality, without any members, without any data members, without any methods. What is a functional interface? The one which has exactly single abstract method. When are you going to learn the use cases, usages of functional interface? Because Ananya just now asked me a question even after I said all this. In functional programming, typically in lambda expressions, after I cover collection framework. So if I tell you the syntax and this, all you will feel today is confused. So we'll talk about functional interfaces, actual use case, actual worth much later. Much later means after collections. So this was all about your basic concepts of your interfaces. So now we are going to apply this to the shape scenario. You already have an idea about the shape scenario. And we had solved it using abstract classes. We are going to do the similar thing, but with the interface. Okay. So here, let me just bring in that diagram. Bounded shape somewhere. I'll just open where that bounded shape was. This is not this. Anyway, so I'll just check quickly whether I have it. This is your employee management. Anyway, I'll draw. So everyone knows the shape related assignment, which we had solved yesterday, demo in the using the abstract classes. Similar stuff we are going to do. But what we are going to do is we are going to solve it using the this thing, interfaces. So here we start with, okay, what should I start with? Should I start with interface or implementation class? We should always start with the interface. So here we are declaring, I just want to show you that one class can implement from multiple interfaces and all that. So here, let's do this. So here we are going to declare interface. I'm saying, I'm just thinking of the method, the name of the interface. So let's say area computation. And here we will declare a method. So area computation requires, I'm going to take the circle shape. So here, can I declare the interface constant? Yes. So the data member we'll discuss will add a pi. I'm just thinking about the scenario. And the method we will add, the abstract method we will add is calculate area. Okay. So this is one. Then I'm declaring, so these are all the types which I am specifying. So I would encourage you to draw this. Otherwise, when I start solving the assignment, you don't understand what is going on. So now I'm saying, if it is a bounded shape, I should be able to calculate area. So fine. But if it is a bounded shape, will I be able to calculate the perimeter also? Everyone knows perimeter concept. Tell me. Your answer is yes. So here we can have the perimeter, another interface, perimeter computation. Okay. And here for perimeter computation, you require, what is it? Pi r square and 2 pi r. So you will also require. So, but you have that interface here, perimeter computation. I can take it from that pi constant. I'm just thinking what else. Okay. So I'll just declare a method, calculate perimeter. Okay. So I hope you can visualize this much. Understood this? So now, so here you have got area computation, perimeter computation, which tells you the abstract method declaration. Okay. So now here I have got already pi. So the implementation class which implements both will access the pi from here. So what is the point in declaring duplicate data member? Understood me? So it is, I was thinking about that. So you have to pi. So you won't require. Okay. Now I'm saying here, let us talk about, yesterday somebody was asking, give an example of extents and implements. Of course, I was going to take, but yesterday was too early for that. So now here we are going to create, let me say, a bounded shape, a class. I want to show you an example where you are implementing also and implementing the behavior as well as extending from the class also. Okay, so here I can think of it as, I'm just thinking for the name. Okay, let's keep the same name. So here will be a class bounded shape. Okay, so think and answer. Listen to this very carefully. When I say any bounded shape, then will that bounded shape be area computable and perimeter computable, or will it not? If I give you the example of a bounded shape, any bounded shape, it can be a polygon, it can be a curve, it can be a cylinder. Will I be able to compute the area and compute the perimeter? So why you are saying no? Any bounded shape means, of course, I'll be able to compute geometry question, guys, not a Java question. Any bounded shape, of course, area computation and perimeter computation is possible. Are you understanding this? So here, can I say bounded shape implements? Yes. Which methods can I implement? Tell me. Which method, or rather, sorry, not methods, which interfaces this is? Area computation and perimeter computation. Are you understanding this? So here I have area computation, comma, perimeter whatever, I mean. Are you getting this? So see, I'm I'm evolving from the same scenario, but just trying to show you where the abstract classes fit, where the interfaces fit and all that. So tell me. So this will be, when I say implements, do you want to create it as a, will it be a concrete class or an abstract class? Decide. I'm getting less answers. I want more answers, more people, because some of you are saying abstract, some of you are saying concrete. So those who are saying concrete, the moment I just say bounded shape, do you seriously know the formula for calculating area and perimeter? Answer that. You know or you don't? Of course you don't. So this will be definitely an abstract class. When you don't know the implementation details, you are not sharing it, you are not supplying it to the, I mean, you cannot supply it to end user. End user means the application developer. So it is going to be abstract. But can abstract class contain the data members? Yes. So you remember the state, X and Y or whatever, the origin point. So we are still continuing with that, XY. Can it maintain the constructor? Quickly. Will it have the constructor? Of course, it will have the 2 argument constructor. And if you want, you can add the 2 string and all that to it. It can contain this. See guys, I have spent a lot of time in abstract classes and this. So I'm just asking you here. So this is definitely possible. So the moment I say this, bounded shape implements this, you can have a class which implements from interfaces but doesn't know how to implement the functionality actually. So we can do that. Or you can create a circle class which extends from bounded shape and implements. But it is better to put it in a single point so the later class definitions will be easy. So here, this is your example. So I'll just shift it properly. So here I'm shifting it properly so that you understand. So here is the implementation class. Are you understanding? Because just draw this class diagram. Otherwise, later when I start implementing, people don't understand. And it's everything I can't repeat all the time. So here, is the class diagram clear so far? Can you visualize it? 100%? Okay, so let me write only this much. And then we will create something called as concrete implementation classes, concrete classes, and then writing a tester and all that is like simple. Okay, so this much only we are doing. Start doing it with me. It will be great because it's not such a big code. But again, your choice. If the concept is clear, then you can do it in the lab session. So let me create the last demo for this. So I'm starting with the interface. Which is the interface? Okay, package name I've reached as P6. So here, I'm not copying earlier code because you get a chance to revisit everything. So let us say area computation. And which is the method we are going to have here. The area can be a double. Okay, sorry. First, I'll declare the data member. If you're wondering why she's declaring a data member when I already have math.py constant, just to give you the revisiting of interfaces can contain the static data member. So here I'm declaring our pi and some value. And here we are declaring a method and that is your calculate area. Tell me openly, honestly, are you clear so far? Is everyone clear with this? Okay, so I'll just copy this into so that it becomes easier. The not area computation, perimeter computation. See, I'm showing you the different functionalities, computing area, computing perimeter, and putting it in a separate interfaces, just to tell you just a summary of all you have learned. Perimeter computation. And here, of course, I don't want a duplicate data member, which I already have declared. And what will be the method you will have? Calculate perimeter. Are we all understanding this so far? Is everyone clear? So which part is done now? This basic part is done. So these two interfaces we have declared. So that is what I did. So what is the next step now? Create a class. So here, let's create a class. Third step, I'm putting everything in the same package because it becomes easier for you to revise instead of putting it in different packages, only for such small demos. So here the next step is create the implementation class called as bounded shape. Okay. So here start dictating. Any bounded shape, can it have an area and a perimeter? Answer is yes. But can you provide the concrete functionality? If it is just a bounded shape, answer is no. That is why I'm showing you an example of creating the abstract class, which will be the baseline or which will be the superclass for creating our circles and rectangles. If you say, no, I don't want it, I will rename it as a point or something, class point. Then point class does not implement area and perimeter. Then you can extend from the point and do it further. But since one scenario you have seen, I'm just going ahead with that. So here implements which two interfaces? Area computation and this thing, perimeter computation. So please tell me, how should I solve the compiler error? You have two options: by adding the abstract keyword here, by making it as abstract class, or by actual implementation. This is your understanding based question. Of course, abstract. Because you still don't know whether it is a circle, triangle, rectangle, square, or whatever. So this is the place. I just want to show you different examples where you tell the compiler, don't be hyper. I don't know how to implement a functionality. So we are continuing with abstraction. The abstraction started with the interfaces and we are continuing it with the abstract classes also. So tell me, what is the difference between an interface and abstract class? Can it contain some non-static, non-final data members? Of course, yes. So this part you know. So I'll go a little faster. Int x and y. Can I have a suitable constructor to initialize its own private state? Answer is yes again. So where is that? Constructors. I am not spending time over things which you already know. Can I add a concrete method to the abstract class? It's a Boolean question. Yes. So here is your overriding form of the toString. Okay. So here all I'm removing is the first one. And I'm removing this. So I'm just putting the X and Y. Actual shape names will give it in the shape class. Are we totally clear so far? Exactly, Piyush. Partial abstraction. Okay. So tell me, can you create the instance of the bounded shape class? No. But can you use it? Can you use the abstract superclass reference to refer to the concrete subclass instance? 100% yes, which is what will happen in the tester. So this is done. Now, am I done correctly? So bounded shape implements all these. Now let us create a subclass. I wanted to mix extends and implements and tell you more. So here, let's define a class. Let's say, what was it? Let's say circle. I can start with anything. Okay. And here, what is going to be the superclass? Object or a bounded shape? Of course, it is going to be the bounded shape. So remove object and you can simply say bounded and you can, you just say control space and you don't have to write much. And see, guys, are you understanding things? The moment you say circle extends bounded shape, along with that bounded shape, what is it you have inherited? Two abstract method declaration. And IDE understands that if you want to create it as a concrete class, you have to define these methods. Are we understanding the extends and implements both? Are we understanding the abstraction part both? I'm just showing you different scenarios to increase your understanding, to clarify your understanding. Okay, so now let me just do the other parts. Of course, there is a still compiler error because there is no default construct calls default superclass. So let us take care of all that. This part you know. The part which you did not know was inheriting the abstraction, and then a concrete subclass has to implement everything. So this part is pretty easy. I mean, easy when I say we have done it just yesterday. I'll just generate the constructor using fields because this part is now very well known. So everyone knows this. Int x and y, not accessible but existing. So we are having initializing it via superclass constructor. And let me add a overriding form of toString also. So this is your toString. And then we have got circle shape. And I want to find out the x and I want to print the x and y also. So, you know, super.toString. And then I'm printing the radius as well. I'll finish the whole class definition and then give you a minute to look at it. So all I have to do is now supply the method definition. So tell me, what is the circle's area? Pi r square. So tell me, can implementation classes access the interface constants directly? Answer is yes. So you will say where you have implemented. But guys, the moment you say extends from bounded shape, you are inheriting the methods and the data members from interfaces. So here is your pi constant. So it is asking you which pi. So of course, from area computation. So pi into radius is already here into radius. Idea is not to do the, not the formula. Idea is to explain you with this. Pi was a interface constant in that area computation interface. And can you say, it's a Boolean question, circle is a area computation? Yes or no? Answer is yes. Why? Because circle is a bounded shape and bounded shape is a area computation and perimeter computation. Are you understanding the point? So this works as already explained, and this is your 2 pi r perimeter. So you can simply say, formula, like I said, I'm choosing a more than easy math and radius. So now I'll wait here for a minute and understand. So you look at this, I will just show you. So from here, I'm just creating a class, or rather we have just created a class. So circle, extends from which? The bounded shape. From the inheritance diagram, it is obvious. And it is implicitly inheriting the abstract behavior, abstract methods from the interfaces. Is the point clear? Is the class diagram clear? So this is the class diagram. Soon I'll be creating a rectangle along with that. So check this. Extends bounded shape. The moment you do this, you are inheriting that abstract behavior because bounded shape could not implement it, right? So you are inheriting. So unless and until you implement the abstract behavior, you cannot make the class this thing concrete. So this was the whole explanation. Understanding or lost? If you don't have to use one of these methods in circle, no, once you say Vinod, you are implementing the interface, you have to provide the implementation. Then I would say, if you want that, then I would say, don't say extends from bounded shape, directly say only compute area or only implements area computation. Once you say extend bounded shape, you don't have that option. You will have to implement all this. We don't provide toString. We can in the bounded shape. In the no, answer is wrong, Kunal. How can you say that? Bounded shape does not have this only. Bounded shape has data members and constructor. So answer to your question is not. Wrong question. Answer your answer is no. So somebody said give a quick rundown. So I'm giving a quick rundown. Don't think about any other questions. Understand. So circle extend. First look at this inheritance diagram. These are the two interfaces implemented by bounded shape, extended by circle. Are you clear with the this thing? Somebody told me to revise in short, recap. Aman, for example, focus. So is the class diagram clear? Because if your class diagram is not clear, you won't understand the code. Have you written down this class diagram in your book? No, I mean this thing notepad. I'm saying don't be lazy, draw it. Otherwise, then you don't understand the code. But if your class diagram is in front of you, you understand it so easily. So now tell me, when I say circle extends bounded shape, are we inheriting any abstraction? Answer is yes. So which is the abstraction we are having? We have not implemented any area computation and perimeter computation. So which are the two abstract methods we are inheriting? One is calculate area, one is calculate perimeter. Okay, so we have to implement these two methods. And if I know that bounded shape is a circle, do we have the access to the formula? Do we know the formula? Answer is yes. So one is pi r square, one is 2 pi r. Story over for the implementation. But the moment I say circle, circle has the additional data member as radius. So this is your constructor, which calls the superclass constructor, abstract superclass constructor, and initializes the complete state. Clear so far, Aman? It was your question to recap. Are you clear so far? How we had to implement both the methods and how we are adding a parameterized constructor to initialize the complete state. But now I wanted to access also the complete state. So this is when we override toString. So what is it we are doing here is giving the name of this shape followed by superclasses toString, which gives me x and y, and adding the radius. So this is a complete recap of the code. Is everyone totally clear, completely clear? We have done all of this yesterday. So same question you are asking me. Bounded shape can have anything, but the whole idea was interface, implementation, and extends together. So in short, you have circle, which is extending from bounded shape and implicitly implementing both the interfaces also. So one demo where you see both extends as well as implements is the topic under discussion. So that is what it is. Okay, next one. So now I'll just create another shape and we'll finish the story. So okay, I'll ask you verbally. So let's see. If you are still confused, Vinod, you can start answering here. If I make it as, not make me another class, rectangle. So tell me, when I say public class rectangle, will it still extend from the bounded shape? Yes or no, guys? Quick answers. Of course, the answer is yes. Of course, there won't be a radius. There will be rectangle width and height. So we will add that. We will create a corresponding constructor. And now answer. We know you are confused, looks like. So answer that. Will I have to again implement calculate area, calculate perimeter methods? Will I need to implement that or can I skip the implementation? Of course, yes. Why? Because somebody said no. Guys, rectangle extends from bounded shape. Bounded shape is an abstract class. So if you want to create a rectangle as a concrete, of course, you will have to implement both the methods. So what will be same and what will be different? Method declaration. Which is method declaration? Line number 12, line number 13 and line number 19 will be the same. But of course, rectangle is different than circle. So the method definition will vary. So focus on creating it and then we can write a tester and test it out. So here, create this. And all I'm saying is extends from bounded shape, just like before. And like sorry, look at this. I did not say hit the control space. So now I'll have to write all the things. Does not matter. It takes a minute. So here, let's start filling up. I'm going to use all the IDE shortcuts. So why it is having compiler error? Because that constructor issue, default constructor calling superclass, plus methods are not implemented. So let us add. Okay, let's go the other way. So here, tell me, What is the additional state you want to declare? The width and height. Right? Let us create a parameterized constructor. Tell me quickly, how many arguments for parameterized constructor? 4 arguments. What will be the first line of that parameterized constructor? Super. So if you are that confident, I would say don't waste your time, generate. But anytime you think that, okay, I'm not still sure, do not do the code generation. So this is done. Now, still it is cribbing because it has inherited but not implemented the abstract functionality. So here, not refactor, source, override implement methods. And now you can see, guys, keep your eyes open, observation. This is extends and this is implements, right? So I'm saying I want to implement both the methods. And as we already said, the area computation and perimeter computation will be different. Declaration the same. So what is that area? Width into height. And here the perimeter will be okay. So as you can see, the circle is a bounded shape. Rectangle is a bounded shape. But the way the area computation, the way the behavior is defined is totally different. And the next one is, since I want to have the complete information, let us override the toString. And here, since I want the complete state, you know what we do. Simply call super dot toString and then append all of them. So I'll wait here for a minute because rectangle class is almost same, almost similar, only the functionality different. Are we clear with the rectangle? Have I messed up in the toString? Oh yeah, yes. Plus was missing, not the double quotes. You got it? So this is almost an identical. Now let us write a quick tester and then we can go ahead with next concept. So here I'm keeping everything under the same package. It becomes easier for you to test it. So let me write a tester in a very similar manner, which I already discussed. So let's see this. Bounded shape, shapes equal to. I'm hard coding the information. I don't want to attach scanner and delay the whole thing. Suppose I have a circle instance. I'm going to ask you memory picture related thing. So please keep the answer ready. I mean, keep thinking in the memory picture. Width and height. Okay. So just give me a minute. Yes, tell me. What is it we are looking at? Dynamic initialization of array of references. So how many objects will be created on the heap when this line is executed? Answer is 3. Which will be the objects? Naturally, one will be circle, one will be rectangle, and which will be the first one which would create? Array. Is it array of primitive types or array of references? Array of references. But what is the type of a reference? Bounded shape. But is bounded shape a concrete class or an abstract class? Abstract class. You can see that this abstract class. But still, how come I can create it? You can create abstract superclass reference to refer to concrete subclasses. Are you getting it? So this is absolutely legal. And then I'm just going to use like yesterday for each bounded shape in shapes. Focus on this because otherwise if the syntax is not clear, you'll have a problem. And here I'm printing, I'm having two different lines. So of course, I created the scope, I mean curly braces. So here first I'm printing the shape. So which classes for the first iteration, what will JVM call when I say SOPS? For the first iteration, yes, toString is fine, but toString on which object, Sandeep? ToString method will be called by the type of the object. So circles toString will be called. And for the next iteration, the toString will be called on which object? Rectangles object. Okay. And that you had seen already. And then we are just saying, what is it? I just want to print the area. So how do I get area? Shape is the area computable. So all that is fine. So all I'm set to say is shape dot calculate area, and I want to print the perimeter. And here it is shape dot calculate perimeter. So again, the same questions. For the first iteration, this is all indirect referencing, you know that. So tell me, for the first iteration, this calculate area and calculate perimeter will get called on which object? You know the answer already. On this circles object. And for the second iteration, it will get called on the rectangle object. A small last question before I run it. Here, should I do the null checking? As in, should I say after this, if shape is not equal to null, null checking is required or not required? Of course, not required. Because what is the array size? 2. Are there any null values sitting in an array? No. It is first slot is containing address of circle, I mean index 0. Second one is containing this. In your assignments, whenever you are hiring the employee, organization size may be 100, but you could find only 20 good candidates. So 80 slots would be null. So in that case, it would be required. So, don't blindly apply, copy paste, whatever I've shown you in the class. You have to, I always give you, wait a second, Omkar, I'm in the middle of statement. So always apply, see what the problem statement is and apply the solution. With the help of abstract methods, we solve the problem. Then why used? Oh my God, Omkar, I can't rewind all the things. The whole thing is in abstract classes, you have still concrete methods defined. You still have a constructor. So you want to decouple all the what do you say, interfaces and specification and implementation. That is why you are again asking me to repeat the difference between interface and abstract class. Read the readmes. In circle class, pi will access with interface name. Himanshu, again, people, guys, you are not remembering the statements I'm making. Himanshu, answer my next question. Can the implementation class access interface constants directly? Himanshu, supposed to answer yes or no. I've taken so many small examples and then built a larger demo. Himanshu is not answering. Answer, Himanshu. No. Then it becomes very difficult when you say such a wrong answer. Guys, we have done it in earlier cases so many times. So here, where is that example? I'll just check that example. I think the third one. Yeah, look at this. Here, we had that interface constant, Himanshu. And here, my implementation classes, this was a duplicate thing. I'll take an example of where I had only one. Somewhere I'll show you. So computable, printable. Here, Himanshu, wake up and answer. Here, I have got this printable constant. And in my implementation class, if I say simply the test data, I've taken all these examples. You can access it. So how can you say no? Implementation classes definitely can access, not a parent and a child. Okay, it is a super type and a subtype. So refresh. When you go to the labs, refresh this point. I've already answered that. Okay, next one. Why 4 values per circle if we compute with radius? Nilesh, your question as usual is not clear. Why 4 values for circle means what? No, don't ask the question till I answer the earlier one. How can I take all the questions then? Nilesh asked, why 4 values for circle? I did not understand. No, I'm saying is, am I not audible? Nilesh, you have to understand, you have to make the question clearer. So tell me, where is your question? Wait a second. Which class should I open? Because unless until I understand the question, how can I answer? Here is your tester. Are you talking about these three? First of all, I don't know which four you are talking about. There are only three values. No, he said four. So he has to ask the question correctly. There are only three values I have given Nilesh for circle. So which are these three values significant? Just focus on the constructor invocation. These two are XY coordinates, the coordinate, the origin point, center. If I ask you to draw the circle, what will you ask me for, Nilesh? The center, where is the origin? And what is the radius? So this is that origin and this is the radius. Are you clear? Okay, so his question was something else. Okay, so yeah, no. Now he's this thing. So some new question somebody asked. We can extend bounded shape and implement two interfaces in circle. Mod, you are wrong. The moment you say, you are missing the main point. The moment you say circle extends the bounded shape, implicitly you are implementing both the interfaces. So there is no further need for saying implements. Here, I think you are still not getting the point. Guys, you are super class when it implements these interfaces. Your subclasses automatically inherit the abstract method declaration. I said it multiple times. So you have not implemented interfaces. Okay, are you trying to say that you don't write it here? But that is a wrong, logic. Any bounded shape, I can implement the area computation and perimeter computation. So if you're just asking the question for the sake of it, and if you remove it from here, of course you'll have to mention it in circle as well as rectangle. So why duplicate that implements 10 over 10 places? Put it in the common superclass, because any common feature, we always put it in the common superclass. That's the explanation. Coordinates X and Y in every shape will have it. Okay, Nilesh, they are explaining. Yeah. Can it, like circle is a child? No. Don't use the wrong words, because grandparent and all typically we use for the Rishikesh, I'm talking to you. I'm responding to your question. Here, this is a super type. Don't say it as a grandparent and all that, even though you think from the hierarchy. The parent and grandparent, typically these are the words reserved for class hierarchy. So I can say it this way. Circle is a bounded shape implementing area and perimeter computation. That is the way you should use the terms in your interviews. No, absolutely not, Rajiv. Refer to yesterday's example. I've already taken an example of downcasting and instance of checking with the interfaces. I'm not going to repeat it there, because otherwise I cannot move forward. So now we are moving forward to the next topic. Whatever pending questions, just to last explanation for Rajiv, because I think he's not gone through yesterday's course at all. In yesterday's code, when I showed P2, in that tester, in that printer and file printer, if you don't revise, you get into such problems, Rajiv. So here in the network printer, we had added additional functionality for data encryption. And here with the interfaces, we still had to do instance of checking and downcasting. So my suggestion to you is, Rajiv, look at yesterday's code, which was shared yesterday afternoon, and you will get the answer to your question. What you are saying is wrong. Understood me, Rajiv? Okay, but did you understand what I'm saying? So your answer to your question is no. You still require downcasting and instance of checking, even with the interface. So this is all. I mean, actually I was planning less time, but the time got extended. But the point is, do refer to, if you have not done the revision. Yesterday I was asking you whether you have done the revision. Still, it seems it is not done. So definitely go through all these code samples in the first 1 hour and then ask me more meaningful questions. And if you want, I can take a quick revision of important concepts in there. Sachin, I'm not going to answer that. Can we do this? The answer is you try it out. Answer is yes, but even if I say yes, you may not understand. See, array can always contain one reference as well as multiple reference. So try it out. So now focus on the next topic. I've already spent more than 2 hours on this, so I hope you don't expect me to spend more. Now, we are talking about a new scenario. So don't relate it to earlier scenario, guys, because otherwise you'll be confused like what is happening. So read the requirement, read the assignment, and then we'll talk about it. So read this. Finish reading, everyone. Is the problem statement read? Finish reading completely? Only one, Pankaj? Okay, couple of you are saying. I want more responses to such a simple answer at least. Okay, so here, tell me. This is simple. Package and a vehicle class. What will be the data members? Already said. Vehicle has a registration number, color, and the price. Okay, all details. And now I am adding something. If you remember our second day, when we started with class and object, I said object has three things: state, behavior, and what is that third thing? When I ask you the question and those who respond, I know only two responses, three, four, very less responses. I was expecting 200 kind of responses. When you say plus and all, don't say plus, add your own answer. Unique identifier. So now I'm adding in that concept of unique identification. So everyone knows. Can you have two vehicles with the same registration number? Of course, the answer is no, right? So here, what is the what do you say, requirement is not, but that object has a registration number and it should be non-duplicate. You cannot have two, unless it is a fake or a fraud, you cannot have two vehicles with the same registration plate. So this is called as, in the database jargon, primary key. I know you have not yet done databases, you will do databases later. So, or in the simple words, it is called as unique identifier. So just keep this point with you. Right now, just for understanding, I'm saying. And when I say get complete state, which is the method you are going to override for getting the complete information? Of course, toString. So that goes without saying. And then we are going to create tester class in a tester package, separate this. And we are going to accept the details of two vehicles from user. User means scanner. And then we will display, you have to display same or different. In case of same, when will you call two vehicles are same? If the registration numbers are same, or different with a different registration number. So is the problem statement clear to all? Is it clear to all? So let's write it. And since it does not involve any interfaces, I'm creating a separate project for this. So let me create 7.2. And here, let me create a vehicles class. Package name, I'm seeing vehicles. The class name, I'm not seeing vehicles, because one class, that represents one vehicle. So don't give the plurals here, such as vehicles. Comma, here I can see vehicles and here vehicle. And here I'll just copy that state. So you know the data members. Okay, so like I don't mess up. So what is it? Private alt-right encapsulation in registration number. Then I have the color color of a vehicle, and then the price. You can add model, make, company, all that, manufacturing date, all those things can come later. So private double price. Okay, so for a change, I'll not generate the constructor so that you can create. So tell me, what will you write here? Forget that. How many arguments will you require for the constructor? Quick answer. The simplest one, 3. So here, as the norm, we typically keep the same names. So string, color, and double price. Will I need to call the super explicitly? Is super required explicitly? Of course not. Because the implicit superclass is what? What is the implicit superclass of vehicle? Object. And compiler insert that super automatically. So you don't have to do that. You can start by saving the state, right? I mean, initializing the state. So this dot registration number, I could have generated it just for a change. I did not. This dot color equal to color so that everyone stays connected. And this dot price equal to price. Sorry. All okay? Now the next one. So here, what is it we are having is now I'll not waste time looking at already this. So here I want to override the toString which has all the details. So tell me, is the simple class at least clear to everyone? Static. Abhijit is asking me, should the registration number be static? Answer him, guys, for me. Of course not. If you say registration number is static, and if I have 10 vehicles in my showroom, do you want to give the same registration number to all the vehicles? Of course not. So you're still confused between static and non-static. You want to maintain, I've told you long back, 2 days back, I guess, when I discussed static. When will you apply static? When you need one copy to be shared across all the objects. So do you seriously want all the vehicles to have the same registration number? Of course not. So answer is wrong. I mean, answer is no. You cannot have the registration number static. Next one. Now let me write a tester. Test something. Okay, test 1. Let's have it as this. Okay. And here I'm going to add the scanner. Sorry. I just imported wrongly. Scanner. And towards the end of it, close the scanner. Ask user. And user doesn't know in which order, in which sequence. So you supply. User means data entry operator, whoever is maintaining the details of vehicles in his showroom or in her showroom. So here, registration number, color, and the price. Okay. And here, I will write the left-hand side. And right-hand side, what is it I have to do? I simply have to call a constructor. It has no inheritance, nothing. Point is something else. So here, how will I read the registration number? Which method? Answer that. Yes, which method you will have? Just give me a minute. I'll be back. Think about the completion of it. Somebody wanted to see the vehicle once again. Here is the vehicle. Okay, so sorry for that interruption. Those who wanted to look at the vehicle class, are they clear? Somebody wanted to say show vehicle class. So that is it. There's nothing in it. Simple Java class. So here registration number is next int. Color is string. So how do you read the string? Next. And price is double. How do you read the double? SC dot next double. Okay. So I have done this. And now I'm asking the user for entering other details. I mean, second vehicle's details. And here I'm calling it as vehicle 2. So this is the code I have written, I have given you so far. Okay. So now tell me, how will you remember the problem statement? The problem statement is, I want you to return true. True of the sense, you have to display same in case of same registration numbers or different in case of different registration numbers. How do I do that? You understood? This is what. So I have done this much for you. Okay. So now how do I do this? Anyone wants to tell me? You tell me from your side and then I'll give you the standard solution. Okay. So Yogesh has started with this. So here, no, equality with registration number, Mohit doesn't tell me. There's no index number. So I don't know what you're talking about. So here, Yogesh has given me a correct suggestion. You have to write a getter here. Which getter you'll have to write? Tell me. Yes, tell me. Get registration number. Okay. And so why I have to write a getter? Because I'm accessing, I cannot access the registration number outside the class. It's a private one. So you'll have to say, so imagine that we add a getter here, get registration number. And then what will I call here? Yes, suppose I have added the getter for registration number. What will be the code? If talking code, because people are finding the even if syntax also sometimes you are making mistakes. So if vehicle 1, yes, dot get registration number is double equal to, Saurabh, you forgot the getter. You can't access the registration number. Yes. So here, if V1 or vehicle 1 dot get registration number double equal to vehicle 2 dot get registration number, then return true. I mean, sorry. If it is true, then SOP same vehicle. Otherwise, SOP different vehicle. Everyone understood me? Yes or no? You understood me? But now is the change. So what is it? So here, what is it we are trying to do? We want to test the equality of two vehicles. Currently it is, two vehicles. It can be later two employees, or it can be what? It can be two different persons. So do you want to write your own non-standard methods, or do you want to stick to the standard methods for checking the equality? Standard sounds better or non-standard API sound better? Of course, standard sounds better. So, of course, looking at time, we are going to do it after the break, but I'm just giving you the clue. So, which is the universal superclass of all Java classes? Object. So, your breaks reading homework. First thing is here, open the Java docs. Open the Java docs with me. If you're not following the instructions, I cannot help you. Every day, right from the morning, whenever you are logging in, you have to keep the Java docs open. Otherwise, you don't understand what I'm showing you. So Java 11 docs, API, and open that index page. This is an everyday statement. And which is the universal superclass you told me just now? Is the object class. Everyone knows that. So when I talk about object, pick up java.lang.object. You know all of this. Which is the method we have been overriding of the object class for last 2-3 days? Which is the method we have been overriding? ToString. So now is the time I show you the another API. So Control F and search for equals method. I told you there are 5 very important methods in core Java. One is toString, equals, hash code, compare and compare to. So many things you can understand with that. So here, take a look at it. So I'm stopping here for a break, 1 hour break. So here, what is your job? In 1 hour's break, I want you to read this description. Okay, so they have given it in very easy manner. Reflexive means they tell you what is that reflexive. Symmetric is what. So here they have given everything, and very important part is read this. Here it says, it tells you that this method returns true if and only if x and y, that is 2 references, point to the same object. So I don't want to stretch your break too much. So what is it we are going to do? Rather, what is it you are going to do in the break? It will take you 5 minutes, not more than 5 minutes. Read. Please read object classes equals method. And once we come back from the break, once you come back from the break, we are going to apply this. We are going to use this equals method in this, and we are going to test it further. So that will be all. Let's have a 1 hour break, and then we'll resume around 12 o'clock. Okay. So let's stop this session and resume in 1 hour. We'll start around 12 o'clock. So that will be because the whole thing got delayed today. So guys, before taking the break, I had given a small 5 minutes reading assignment. Have you read this? There are only 155 participants. So guys, you should log in time. So here, so I hope you have read it. I'll ask you. So first of all, whose method are we discussing? Which classes methods are we discussing? So if you turn up late, then I'm not going to revise. I cannot revise it for you. So start joining in time. You should not join after I join in, because then you miss out on important segments. Object class method. Okay. So now here, vehicles, which is the implicit superclass of your vehicle? Object. So can vehicle inherit this particular method and use it? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? Of course, yes. So imagine you got 2 vehicles referred by 2 references, V1 and V2, or vehicle 1 and vehicle 2. Can anyone tell me how will you call this method? Type it out in your Zoom chat. I said, I want to call this method equals method. Avinash, yours is an incomplete answer. Don't say just equals, Ankit. Yeah, I will accept only those answers who have said V1 dot equals V2 or vehicle 1 dot equals vehicle 2. Everyone understands it? Okay, so that was a complete answer. So here, now read the description. Description is, it is reflexive. Reflexive means what? If you say V1 dot equals V1, okay, it should return true. So of course, obviously, symmetric means if you have 2 references, let's say X and Y, if X dot equals Y returns true, what should Y dot equals X return? True. That is your symmetric. I have discussed this when we were talking about point class equality, box class equality and all. What is the transitivity means? Transitivity means you are checking the equality of 3. So if X dot, I am reading the same thing. If X dot equals Y returns true, Y dot equals Z returns true, then X dot equals Z, what should it return? True or false? True. That's your transitivity. Consistency means if you have got in your application, sometime X dot equals Y true, then consistently anytime without, if you use the 2 references without changing the data, every time it will be true, should be true. Or if it was returning false at any point of time, consistently it should return false. So are you clear about consistency also? And for any non-null reference, suppose your X is not null, but you are passing null. What should method return? True, or rather, what is this equals method returning? True or false? Answer is false. Okay, so this was a simple one. I told you, which is an important line. So this is a very important line. So I hope you have taken me seriously and read this. So let me ask you a simple question. Object classes equals method, is it checking reference equality or is it checking state of the object equality? Content equality or reference equality? R or C? State is somebody saying. Wrong answer. X and Y are the references, guys. So it is checking the reference equality, meaning when will your object classes equals method returns true? If X and Y, that is two references, if they are pointing to the same object. Pointing to the same object means what? What are they containing? Same address value. So what are we comparing, or what is your object classes equals method comparing it by? Reference equality, once again I'm asking, or content equality? Yes, please. Answer is reference equality. So guys, now also the number is 198. So those who are joining late are going to miss all this, and I'm not going to repeat these statements. So you will have to read it on your own. So first thing, join in time. Okay, so now let's try this out. Unless until you test it, you can't understand. So forget that same and different. Let us see whether what the true or false returns. Well, what we get, true or false. So I'm saying this out. And here, let me ask you a question. I'll remove this semicolon, so I'll get a chance to ask you. So I'm saying vehicle 1. What is vehicle 1? Object or a reference? Reference. Dot equals vehicle 2. So the question being asked is, after adding the bracket and the semicolon, compile time error or no error? Compile time error or no error? Of course, no error. So tell me, whose equals method are we using? Your choices are object classes equals method or vehicle classes equals method. O or V, object classes inherited method. Same things I had shown you, if you remember, 2-3 days before for toString. So I'll write it so that even latecomers will understand this. So here, using inherited form of equals, and is it based upon reference equality or your content equality? Answer is reference equality. What are the contents? What are the state of the vehicle? Registration number, color, price. But object class, see, vehicle is an object, but object is not vehicle. So object doesn't know anything about that. Okay. So based upon reference equality. Okay. This is an extremely important method. That is why I did not take it before the break. I just wanted to give you some time and then start this. So now, does anyone want to tell me what will be there is no compile time error, there is no runtime error. So can you tell me, listen to the question. I'm going to give exactly same registration number, color and a price. Okay. I'm going to enter all the details exactly same. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4 red and some price and same details here. So when I enter the same details, what will be the output here? Your choices are only two, true or false. I'm getting both the answers. Majority of them are saying true. Correct answer is false. Guys, I told you this equals method, I have written it in clear-cut manner. Reference equality. So tell me, how many references and how many objects in the memory picture with these two lines? There are two references pointing to the same object or two different objects. Two different objects. In short, vehicle 1, the vehicle 1 is holding one address, vehicle 2 is holding another address. So are they same or are they different? They are different. So how can you say true? It is based on reference values, that is addresses equality. So of course, it will return you false. So check. Observe this. So registration number, suppose I say something. Of course, you have MH and Maharashtra, I mean, state-wise and all that. I'm not going for that. So red, and price is, let's say, 50,000. Okay, so that's your first one. Now check. I'm copying the same details. So the moment I got the same registration number and same contents, ideally, it should return me true. But observe and conclude. Are you understanding it? Guys, equals method is extremely important in Java programmers' life. So spending so much time there. So anyone wants to tell me why it is returning me false? Are we checking the contents of the vehicle, or are we checking the references of the vehicle? References of the vehicle. And if somebody is still not clear, is there any method in Java to print the addresses references? Answer is yes. There is a hash code function. You can just SOP the toString, but if you you have overridden the toString. So now toString will not help you. So which is the method to display the address, the internal, they call it as internal representation of the address. Sorry. And that method is again inherited from the this thing object class. There is a method called as hash code. So let me show you those hash code values. Vehicle1 dot hash code, and here it is going to return you the address vehicle2 dot hash code. So answer carefully, clearly, confidently. Are you going to see the same result? I mean, same address or different address? S or D? Different. And the whole thing is the way the object classes equals method is based on reference equality, gives you false. Observe and conclude. So check this. So here, tell me, how many objects, how many references? 2 objects referred to by 2 references. Are we having the same address or different address? Different address, anyone can see, and that is why your equals method, object classes equals method, is returning false. So tell me, are you 100% clear so far? The statement that the object classes equals method is based on reference equality or content equality. Answer is reference equality. And I'm not saying a word of my own. That is what I asked you to read. This method returns true if and only if x and y refer to the same object. X double equal to y returns true. So tell me, x and y are here what? Vehicle 1, vehicle 2. So let me ask you one more question. Because this is a extremely important discussion. Anyone wants to tell me? Yes, please. Oh, sorry. Vehicle 2, I wanted to say. Anyone wants to tell me what will be the answer here, output here, if I give the same details? I'm going to give the same details. First is false. Are you going to see the same hash code or different hash code? Different hash code, even though if I give the content same. And most importantly, what will you see here? True or false? Vehicle 1 double equal to, guys, what is wrong with you? You're not able to read the statement and make this clear. Of course, this is going to be false. You are comparing the addresses of 2 vehicles. So when you say the hash code value is different, how can you say this will be true? This is so disappointing. This is a simple logical equality operator. So 100%, whatever may be the thing. Again, somebody has unmuted. Zubair Sheikh, please immediately mute yourself. So here, this is going to be false. Because what is happening here is, it is comparing by the reference equality. Please confirm. And this is also going to be false. Okay, check it. I'm giving the same details as you can see. And I thought I will get a 100% correct answer where it is, but somebody still said it will be true. You're just comparing 2 values of addresses. So if you say confidently that addresses will be different, how could you say it true? So guys, think before you answer. So this is the problem statement. This is a problem. What is the problem? Listen to the problem here. Here, I have already given you from your logical sense or your common sense. When will I say two vehicles are equal? When should it return true? If their registration numbers are true. Okay. So ideally, correct output should have been, this should have been true. The address and all memory, JVM does the memory management. So I can't help you here. But when I call, listen to this. Otherwise, if you don't understand what is happening, what is the requirement, you'll feel lost. So I want this equality testing method to return true or false based on reference equality or unique ID equality. That is your content equality or reference equality. Answer is, somebody still saying reference equality. Guys, you have a serious problem in understanding. Guys, here we are already having the reference equality. So now we want to replace reference equality by content equality. And do I want to compare the entire content? No. I can have two cars with the color red. I might have two car models having the same price. But what is that unique ID you have? What is the unique identification to identify a vehicle registration number? So, what is the requirement? The requirement is the moment user is entering the information, vehicle information, and the two vehicles, if the registration number is the same, it should return, the equality testing criteria, which is your equals method, should return true. So if this is the requirement, give me the solution. I already got the solution. Piyush, Sakshi, Mohad, all of you are right. It's the same concept. I will recap the concept. I will revise the concept. See, when we had not overridden toString method, what was the inherited form of the toString was returning? Answer me, guys. Everyone should answer. I said when you did not override the toString, it was returning the fully qualified class name plus the hash code version, address printing version. Everyone agrees? But we wanted to replace the hash code returning version by the actual state details. So what is it we did then? What did we do? We simply, did you write your own method such as get details, or did you modify the existing inherited behavior? We modified it. And how did we modify? Of course, method overriding to give rise to runtime polymorphism. So in exactly same manner, see this, in exactly same manner, I don't want to write a new method such as is equal or check equality that we had done on the initial days, but now we have learned more. So here, what I'm telling you is, listen to this. Now this was for your understanding, so I'm commenting this, otherwise unnecessary confusion. So I'm saying this is what is the problem statement. What is the problem statement? The problem statement is I'm not allowing you to make changes into anything. So this is not to be touched. But you do something elsewhere where it will give me the result as true here. The other side I've commented, the moment your registration plate, registration number is same. So in short, what is it we are trying to do? We want to replace the reference equality by what? We want to replace the reference equality testing by content equality. And do you want to change the entire, check the entire content or only unique ID? Answer is only the unique identity part. And that is your currently registration number. So I'm making the copies. Copies means, this thing, what is it called? Different projects, so that it will become easier and you can revise it in the same sequence which we have created. And we had a word with sir also because of your concerns and all that. So I'm not going to leave this revision of the classwork entirely to you. Whatever code samples I feel are important, after I log in around 3:30, 3:40, I'm going to take the revision. So because I don't know really in that 1.5 hours how you are revising, because I got so many questions which were already explained yesterday from so many of you. So today onwards, the pattern is going to change. You will have to spend something like 25 minutes in doing the revision of the important code samples, not all, but with me. Okay, so that will be added in your lab session today onwards. We're just trying to help you with different ideas. So coming back to the point, see what I'm doing. I'm just making a copy of this project, day 7.3. Okay, so here I'll say Control Shift W, close everything. And here now focus. So here, oh, by the way, I made a mistake. Test one also I wrote in the same. So anyway, I'll correct it now. While talking to you now, I mean, I must have made a mistake. So let me call it as a package tester and I'll shift that test one there. Okay. So and of course, when the moment it is outside the package, what is it I have to do? Import. You can say either vehicle or whatever. It's the same thing. So now the code is running in the same manner. So here, I'll just show you. And the price. And suppose I give the same details. It is still saying false. You got me? So I'll remove the unwanted. This was for explanation. So keep this much only. So now tell me, which is the class? You're not allowed to touch any of the code, but still the reference equality should be replaced by content equality. So tell me, where should I go? What should I open? I want the answer from you. Which is the class we should open? Of course, vehicle class. Whose equality you are testing? Vehicles. So open those who are coding along with me. Open vehicle class. And you already have one example. I'll give you in writing. Why do we override toString? Override toString to replace what by what? To replace hash code version. That is address returning version by actual state details. So when I say you are supposed to revise, you are supposed to read these comments also and recap. So similarly, what is it we are going to do? We are going to override equals method to replace what? What by what? Complete my comment. To replace what by what? We are going to override the equals method, which is inherited from object class, to replace what equality by what equality? Reference equality. Address equality, which I showed you earlier, by contents equality. This is a popular question. What is the need of overriding toString? What is the need of overriding equals? So I'm giving you that. And to be precise, we don't check the entire contents. To be precise, the unique ID. It will be based on unique ID. You got me? So now tell me. Answer this. So here, how should I start? You dictate, I will write. So tell me the method declaration first. What should be the method declaration? Okay, is there any annotation to tell the compiler that whatever follows is the overriding form? Yes. So Yogesh has already given me. Answer is yes. You already know about it. So at the rate override. And when you say method overriding, access specifier same or wider, nothing wider than public. Return type same or covariant type. But Boolean is a primitive type. There is no subtype of that. So same. What is the method name I have? Equals. And most importantly, how about the method signature, guys? What should be the method signature? See, Mohd already gave me the wrong answer. Okay, so I get lot of such wrong answers. People give me wrong answers all the time. So I'll go ahead with him. So he was giving me vehicle V. Okay, so let me just continue for a minute. And currently, I'm just returning true here. We will change that. So answer me, guys, especially those who gave me the wrong answer. Tell me, is it a correct form of method overriding or a wrong form? Is it correct or is it wrong? C or W? It is wrong. What is wrong in that, guys? Yes, no. What is wrong in that? What is the rule? The method signature, when you are doing the method overriding, should be what? Same. So what is it you have created, Mohat? Is it an overriding form or is it an overloaded form? Overloaded form. Are you understanding? And why compiler is allowing you that? Because you never told the compiler that whatever follows is method overriding. And trust me, if you do this, your runtime polymorphism means superclass reference pointing to subclass object and correct method, correct version picking up will not work. So is there any way to catch these errors, catch such errors at the compile time? Is there any solution to understand, debug? Wrong, you are off track totally. No, don't give me just a vague answer as annotation. You know which annotation. At override annotation helps you. So I hope everyone is convinced that at override is for your own good. The moment you say at override, compiler knows that you are trying to override, but something is wrong. So tell me, what is wrong? Is it a return? Is it a access specifier? Is it a return type? Is it a method name or is it a method signature? Obviously, method signature is wrong. So that is the reason I have been insisting all along. Don't do this. Add at override to catch your errors early. Everyone understood the statements made so far? Because don't tell me after 10 minutes repeat everything. Not final object, but which final object you are talking about? Just object O. Okay, so here we are. Now I'm saying, just for your understanding, I'm saying in vehicle equals, so that you'll understand whose method is getting called and all. Now tell me, what is the equality criteria? What is it I'm going to test for checking equality? Quickly tell me. What is it we are going to add is registration number. So here, see something. I'm writing if this dot registration number, this I am adding only for understanding, double equal to O dot reg number. The moment you say this, you have a compiler problem. All these things, equals method is a classic revision of all the concepts of yesterday and day before. Anyone wants to tell me why there is a compiler error? Pushkaraj already gave me, Yash already gave me, all are wrong. Everywhere you will get a compiler error. So I want the full things. Guys, the same statement I must have said 100 times. So what more revisions you want? Compiler goes by what? Type of the reference or type of the object? I'm not asking for solution. I'm asking for the problem first. Okay. Compiler goes by the type of the reference. So what is the type of O? Object. And do you seriously think in object class there is a method, there is a member called as registration number? No. And how do you understand all of this? Simply take it here. It says registration number cannot be resolved or it's not a field. So tell me, what is the solution? Object class does not have a registration number. Is there any solution or are we doomed? Of course, there is a solution. Somebody was asking me that do you require and do you not require? Guys, pay attention to such things. When you are having a superclass reference, but in the tester, what is it you are actually going to pass? A vehicle. So you have superclass object reference pointing to vehicle. What is it we are having? Upcasting. And you want to access subclass additional functionality such as registration number. How do we solve it? What do we do? Yes, we do the downcasting. So are you understanding this? That is where you are applying all the concepts learned. So of course you will have to do the downcasting. So which downcasting? You will have to go down from, climb down the hierarchy from object to vehicle. So what is the typecast you are having? Vehicle. And then you are doing this. So tell me. See, when you say revise, I don't generally revise all the, I do still take, I'm taking your request. Generally, I don't take so many requests at all. So the point is, here you get ample revisions, but with different contexts, different examples, different scenarios. And that is the way you grow. So start answering. What is the reference type of highlighted one? Answer. Object. Okay. What is the reference type? What is the data type of now highlighted one? Answer is vehicle. So now where compiler is going to search? In the object class for registration number or in vehicle class? Of course, in the vehicle class. But guys, user being a user means I'm not talking, when I say user, please remove. User is not the client. While using this code, while testing this code, suppose I pass something which is not a vehicle. Suppose I pass something which is not a vehicle. Will this code survive or will this code break? Break means error. I'll repeat the question slowly. If I pass something which is not a vehicle, okay, will the code run or will it not run? Of course, it will not run. So tell me, don't tell me error. I told you, be better than that. Compile time error or runtime error. Vaibhav, I'm not asking for solution. I'm asking for errors. Runtime error. And which runtime error, guys? Because you may have understood it, but other 200 may not have. Yeah. So which is that? Class cast exception. But unless until you see it, guys, don't trust. Okay. So this much only will do. So tell me, what will this method return? If both vehicles, both means what? One is the invoker. So if I call v1 dot equals v2, which is this and which is O? I'll repeat the question again. I said, when I call, I've done this so many times. v1 dot equals v2. This is v1, O is v2. Very right. But equality has to be symmetric. So tomorrow if I swap v2 dot equals v1, what will be this and what will be O? I hope you would remember all this discussion. It is opposite. The invoker is v2 and the argument is v1 and it should still work. So anyone wants to tell me, when will this method return true? Tell me, if and only if, tell me, if and only if both registration numbers are same or are they different when the registration numbers are same. So now tell me, have we replaced the reference equality by the unique ID equality? Yes or no? Answer is yes. So take a look at this. So this is one. I have purposefully not added instance of, because guys, this concept has to understood properly, has to be understood properly. So let me do that. See this, huh? Test one. As I promised you, I'm not changing a single line of a code. Everyone is watching me, so how can I change when you are looking at it? And I don't want to. So let me add this. Do I have this? Oh, great. So I have some data. I have given the exactly same data. So tell me, this time, is it going to call object classes inherited method, object classes equals, or the overriding form? O for object, V for vehicle, or O for overriding, whatever, the overriding form. In short, what is it is going to return? True or false? 100% true. Why? Because now are we checking the reference equality or the registration number, that is content equality? The content equality registration number. Confirm. And I just wrote it for your clarity. It is definitely going to our overriding form, runtime polymorphism kicking in, and then it is returning true. Now, let me run this again. And I'm doing something. And if I say white and the same price, tell me, what is our method return? True or false? It's a simple question, simple answer. Why you are saying false? Because we are ignoring the rest of the contents. All our equality testing criteria is two vehicles are same if and only if the registration plate is same. So as you said, it is this. Next combination. So, and then I change the color and the price. Tell me, what is the expected output? Of course. Now I think everyone has got the drift. So what is it we have done? We have replaced, we have overridden the object classes equals method to replace reference equality by the unique ID equality, or you can simply say content equality. Okay, so now keep observing. Fine. So Because that is the way that is the way to learn. You see the problem, you understand the mistake, and then you correct it. So here I'm going to do something SOP, and here let's see this. I'll remove the whole thing so that I get a chance to ask you. If I say vehicle 1 equals scanner. So first question, see, I'm asking you very slowly and very deep questions, very interesting questions. If you understand, you'll like it. So tell me, after adding the bracket and the semicolon, compiler error or no error? So somebody is saying, Himanshu is saying, for example, compiler error, wrong answer, there is no error. So tell me, so many of you are saying no error. So can you tell me why? Answer is compiler goes by the type of the references. So what is the type of the reference you have passed? Scanner. And what does your equals method require? An object. So tell me, is scanner a object? Answer is yes. And so because of the upcasting, you can fool the compiler. I'll repeat the statements again because after 10 minutes, I can't repeat everything. I'm saying this is okay. There's a warning, of course. But the point is, compiler is not giving you any error. Why? Because just take a cursor or equals, and this is taking the object type of argument. And scanner is an object. So, of course, there is no compile time error. So tell me, what do you think? Runtime error or the output such as true or false? I've given you 3 options. Answer is runtime error. People, you have already guessed it earlier, but I don't know how many you have guessed it. And I have to take care of everyone. So here, 100%. Okay, so you said runtime error, very right. Can anyone tell me that this is the line number where you will get the runtime error? Line number, please. Participate most, you start enjoying, you start understanding most. But as I said, I can't cover every question here. That has to wait in the lab. Line number 24 is the right answer. So is it going to be for this or is it going to be for the second one? LHS or RHS? RHS. And see the point yourself. What you have passed through object type of a reference is a scanner. And you are trying to cast a scanner into a vehicle. So tell me, are they compatible or are they incompatible? C or IC? Incompatible. And when you try to do the illegal casting, which is the famous exception you get, we have spent so much time on it, class cast exception. And that is the reason always we say, and some of you were saying, first do the instance of checking before downcasting, so you'll never run into errors. So first, as I said, I want to show you the error, and here is your error. So let's do this. Suppose I give the same. So what will be the output for the first this? When I say vehicle equals vehicle 2, true or false, or runtime error? True. And when I try to equate it with a scanner, then you will get an exception. So check this. In vehicles equals, the method returns true. Don't worry about the color changing and all that. And here observe class cast exception, and it is telling you so clearly what cannot be cast into what? The scanner instance. How can you cast it into vehicle? So is there any solution to avoid this class cast exception? 100% yes. And that is what you have learned yesterday. So again, my favorite statement, don't be too hard or too impatient with yourself. Give yourself time. Whatever you see, whatever you hear earlier day, in 1 or 2 days time, things will get clear. So I can't help you if you just expect the clarity immediately. So here, now let us do the instance of checking. Anyone wants to dictate what is the condition I should do? Write it down. This is where you should participate most. Type it out. Let me be flooded with your messages. V instance of vehicle. There's no V here. Yes, please. O instance of V is wrong. O instance of vehicle. I think you meant that. So here on the left hand side, there's a reference type of variable. Then comes your instance of checking. And then comes on the right hand side the type, the actual runtime type, which is your vehicle. So if it is, then do that. But if some dumb user means dumb application developer, gives you something other than a vehicle, for example, a fruit or an employee or a scanner, what should happen? Should your code break, or should you say that they are two different and return false? I said, in case somebody doesn't give you a vehicle, what should this method do? It should simply return false because those objects are incompatible. Somebody is saying else and all. You are mistaken. You don't even require else. See, if it is all fine, you are returning from that method. So the control is over. The method returns. So here directly you can say return false. So before I run it, I'm asking you a slightly deeper, not deeper actually, a question. Can you tell me under which conditions this method will return false? There are two conditions. I want both. I'll repeat my question. I said, look at this simple method, simple but important method. Under which conditions this method will return false? Waiting for your answer. There are two answers to this. Registration number different for two vehicles, fine. And one vehicle, that this is vehicle because you are sitting there, somebody gives you another type other than a vehicle. Absolutely correct. So we are writing a fail-safe code, foolproof code. So two conditions are, somebody gave you a vehicle, so your control reached here, but registration numbers were different, of course false. And somebody is so dumb that by mistake, somebody gives you something which is not a vehicle, maybe a fruit, a flower, a person, or a bank account, then also it returns false. So conversely, under which condition this method will return true? If and only if you are passing a actual vehicle here through the object type of reference and registration numbers are same. So let's not waste overtime on that. I mean, already I've spent enough time. And of course, you will have today assignment which requires equals. So that I'll take that care of. So here, suppose I give the same. And now, can you see this? The moment your registration plate, registration number is same, fine. So what was the result of instance of? True. And registration number was also the same. So true. And when you pass that scanner, is scanner a vehicle? Yes or no? No. So what will that instance of operator return? False. And in that condition, we are returning false. So I'm sitting quiet for a minute. You look at the tester. You look at the, what I'll do is, I'll do better than that. I'll send you both the files so that, you can have a look at it. So today's day 7, right? Day 7.3 SRC. I'm sending you the vehicle. So if you want, you can start looking at it. And I'm sending you the tester also. So that once you have the code in front of you, easier for you to understand. And the same thing I'll get the same thing I will get done. You are welcome, Kunal, in the lab. I'm not going to leave the important topics revision to you. I'll myself get it revised. So I get the confidence that everyone is understanding it. Okay, so this was your equals part. I'll wait here for a minute as I promised, and then I'll continue after a minute. You take a look at the code. And this is your corresponding equals method. I have sent you both the files. Okay, have you understood something about equals? Are you clear with the equals method? Everyone, like I said, you will be using it so many times. I'll tell you something ahead of time. When I take you to the first advanced topic of core Java, which is collection framework, generics and collection framework, at that time you'll see collection framework methods use this equals method internally. And by that time, I want the full clarity. So of course, today you'll have an assignment on that. So this was about your equals. Next one. Now, before I can stop, I mean, we got a lot delayed in that whatever interface-based examples, but doesn't matter. As long as you are understanding it is fine. If you recall, we have talked in detail about other access specifiers. Which ones you know inside out? Which three access specifiers you have complete and you should have complete understanding? Don't go in an off-track manner. Always go in an ascending order: private, default, and public. But we have not really paid any much attention to protected. So it is high time that we talk about protected. So here I'll open that in one of these days. I'll just check. Yeah. So here I did not purposefully did that because this time I have a crowd, that is you guys, who are having lot of you did not know about inheritance at all. Generally, if I get a batch which has some idea about inheritance, I show protected at that time itself. But for you guys, I did not do it. So now focus. This is what we are going to create in exactly next 2 minutes. And we are going to confirm the entire table. Okay, so what are we looking at here? Row headers. These are the access specifiers: private, default, protected, and public. And what are these 5 cases we are going to create in next 5 minutes is same class. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a class as A. And we are going to declare 4 data members: one private, one package private, that is default, one protected, and one public. And then we are going to test the access as the scope. So tell me, I think private, default, and public row should be clear, but still, anyway, I'm revising, so might as well do that. So are private members accessible within the same class? You can see the answer right here. Of course, yes. But the moment you step outside the class, even when you have same package subclass, now everyone knows superclass, subclass. So tell me, can a subclass access superclasses private members even if it is in the same package? Of course, no. So what is the boundary of private access specifier? Current class. Okay, so that is your first one. You're going to see it with example. What about default? Default itself means package private. So listen to this. As long as you are in the same package, whether same package subclass or same package and not related via inheritance, that is non-subclass, will default members be visible in the same package? It's a yes or no. Of course, yes. And the moment you step outside the package in a different package but subclass and different package and non-subclass, default scope is over and public scope is visible everywhere. So tell me honestly, openly, private, default, and public, are we completely clear? Because this was done earlier. Only row which I did not explain, could not explain, was protected. So guys who are coming from C++, they are in for a surprise. So here there is a difference between C++ versus Java. Okay, so this is how you should understand C++ versus Java. Anyway, I'm talking to a general crowd, so I'll start explaining. So what is protected? Protected in Java is considered as wider than default. Okay, protected members are mainly for inheritance, but understand the special note about protected. Protected work, listen to this. Protected work in the same manner as default till you are in the same package, because protected is considered as wider than default. Means what? Will the protected is a new access specifier. Will the protected members be available in the same class? Yes. Same package and a subclass. Protected is for inheritance. So of course, yes. Whether it is within the same package or different package doesn't matter. But the surprise for C++, guys, is this. If you create an unrelated class, but in the same package, because protected is equal to default, this also works. This I am going to prove it to you in next 2 minutes. Okay, so this also 100% will work. And the moment, but then what is the difference between default and protected? Default members stop getting access. I mean, they lose their scope the moment you step outside the package. But protected members are mainly for inheritance. So whether even when you are in a different package, but related to the superclass, as in related by inheritance, you can inherit the protected members. But the moment you are outside the package and not related, will protected scope work? I mean, will it be visible? Will protected members be visible or not visible? Accessible or not accessible? Answer is not accessible. Okay, so this is the table we are going to prove, confirm in next 5-10 minutes. And then remaining time we are going to spend in exception handling. So here another diagram. So this is what we are going to do. Okay. What I'll do is I actually have shared it long back. Anyway, I'll just share this picture with you. So understanding access specifiers is the goal. So here we are going to create 2 packages, package P1, package P2. We are going to start with class A. So observe, in class A, I'm going to add 4 instance variables with different scopes. Which 4 different scopes we are going to add? Private int I, int j, protected int k, and public int l. Understood so far? Yes or no? This is the step before I actually code. This is the design diagram. So I'll send you this. And we will add the argumentless constructor. And in that default argumentless constructor, we'll simply SOP them. So think and answer. If I write SOP, I and J and K and L, will I get any compiler error or no compiler errors? I'm talking about class A. Accessing all members. I'm just looking at your answer. Yes, because I not opened your chat. Of course, the answer is no error. So now in the same package, I'm going to create a subclass. So which is the case we are dealing with? Same package and a subclass. So class B extends A. And you know, when I say extends, like mango is a fruit, B is A. So I'll not add any additional state. We will add an argumentless constructor and we will try to display directly IJKL. So tell me, compiler error or no error? Understood my question? SOP IJKL. Of course, compiler error. Which one will be giving you this compiler error? Your choices are private. I is private, default, protected, and public. Which one will fail? How can you access private superclass member from a subclass? So of course you'll get a compiler error here. Are you all with me? Are you all understanding what is going on? Yes or no? Okay. Now there is a third category, same package. And is it a subclass? Is it extending from A? Answer is no. So same package, not a subclass. So here, of course, I'll be adding C's constructor. But can I directly access IJKL from C? Answer is no. C is not A. So here we will create object of A reference equal to new object, new A, and we will try to say A.I, A.J, A.K, A.L. So can you tell me which will be accessible and which will not be accessible? I had given you that table long back. What will be accessible? Private won't be accessible. Very right. Will default member be accessible? Default, yes. Will protected be? Default is not accessible. Ankit, what are you saying? Somebody said no. I don't know which one. So guys, you are in the same package. So how can you say no? Of course, yes. Will protected? Mohit was saying. Okay. So Mohit, it is that the default is of course yes. Will protected be accessible in a non-subclass? Here C++ versus Java differs. In C++ answer is no. In Java answer is yes, because protected 100% work as a default while you are in the same package. In short, protected will work, public anyway works. So this is what you are going to confirm. Don't trust a word, whatever I'm saying. We will confirm this by writing code in just 2 minutes. So this finishes all the cases in the same package. A superclass, same package subclass, same package non-subclass. Now let us step outside the package. Let us enter the another package. So which is the another package? Let's say let's say P2. So here, what will you call D? Is it a same package subclass, different package subclass, or non-subclass? It is a different package subclass. And since D is A, we'll try to access IJKL. And anyone wants to tell me what will be accessible, what will not be accessible? Different package subclass is a very right answer. So private member gone. But now default also will be gone. What is the boundary of default? Default is package private. So you are stepping outside the package. So naturally, private is gone, default is gone. But will I be able to access the protected member? Of course, yes. Protected is for inheritance. So whether it is a subclass within a package or outside the package, subclasses have the direct access. They can directly inherit protected members. So K will be visible. Public is accessible from anywhere. So protected and public both will be visible. I'm telling you the answers before we write the code. So you'll have 2 revisions back to back. And which is this last category we are discussing? Same package or different package than A? Different package. We are in P2. And is it a subclass or is it not a subclass? Non-subclass. So answer that. What will survive? Which will be accessible? Which member will be accessible? Only public member. Because now protected also loses the scope. You are outside the package and not related. So once you solve this, the whole concept of access specifiers will become clear. I seriously don't remember whether I have shared this with you. So I'm sending you. Just give me a minute. Of course, this will be all added properly in today's help, these additional diagrams. But in case you want to have something when we are coding, this is my help. So core Java help, D3 help, diagrams, and constructor invoke. Oh, sorry, not constructor, understanding access specifiers. So that I'm sending, and I'm also sending you that table. So keep it in front of you and let's code together. When I say together, if you're not coding along, you can just observe as always. So since it is a different topic, day 7.3 for equals. I'm going to take today onwards the code revision also. So that time we will have interesting time. So let me create a, I'm just thinking whether to add it in the same project or not. Let's not mix up. Let's create a separate project. You know what I'm going to do today onwards? Looking at your responses, I also get ideas. So here I'm not going to write just revise class 1. I'm going to say, open this project and revise this concept. Open this project and revise that. And important topics, I myself will get revised. So that is the suggestion I thought of. You have better suggestions anytime, respond. But in the lab session, not now. So here, let's start creating the package now. So here src, this is a package symbol, new Java package. And let's create a package P1. I could have directly started with A. So in P1, you got the diagram. Everyone got the diagram regarding access specifiers. So open that diagram and keep it with you. So you'll know what I'm coding. Otherwise, when I start coding, you start feeling lost. Don't do that. And here I have got a class A. Okay. So here, see this. Now, I'm not going to run this. So let me just What are the two access specifiers here for the class level? Public or default. So let me keep it default because you know I can cover so many things. And what are the state variables we are going to add? I already told you. Which is your package private, which is default. Then is your protected keyword, a new thing of today. And one I'm declaring it as public. Are we all clear? All varying scopes. And whatever rules I'm giving you for data members, 100% same rules for methods also. Means anyone wants to check the rules for methods, create 4 methods, M1, M2, M3, M4. Make M1 private, next one default, M3 protected, M4 public. And you will see same results, same answers. So here I'm defining a constructor. Defining means adding a constructor. And here all I'm doing is SOP state of A, which is nothing but its instance variables I. Oh, sorry. With ID, things are so easy. ID tells you already what the answer is going to be. Okay. And we are not going to even run this. I'm just interested in knowing compiler error or no error. So tell me, in this whole class, are you seeing any compiler errors? Of course not. Private members, package private members, that is your default members, protected and public, are all accessible from within the same class. How are you mapping it, guys? Here. I mean, how are you understanding it with the table which I've given you? This is the private. So here, all the members, you are going column wise. So here, private, default, protected, public are all accessible within the same class. 100% clear so far? First example, easy. Now, let us create a subclass in the same package. So click on P1, a class B. Okay. Again, for some reason, I'm making it. You'll understand why. This and what is the keyword for using inheritance? Between class and a class, extends or implements. It is extends. So extends E. There's no compiler error because here it is no constructor and here we have supplied a default constructor already. So see what I'm doing. I'll just copy this. I'll just make the changes. I just copied it because, you know, I don't want to waste time. So I'll say state of B. And you all know that B is A and something more. So tell me, look at the answer yourself. Which member is not accessible from the same package subclass? Answer is only I. So I'm taking the cursor here or here and it tells you, popping up the hell. Yeah, the field A.I is not visible. Obviously not because it is what? Private. But the package private, the protected and public, all accessible. So are we going to solve these errors? Of course not. The whole idea is to confirm that table. So is this compiler error clear to everyone? Private members are not accessible the moment you step outside the class. So this was your class B. Example of same package subclass. Okay. Now the third one. So I'm leaving the compilers as it is. You're supposed to look at this compiler errors and revise what we said. Next one. So what is the next one? Same package, but not a subclass, you know. So C maybe. And so this is your class C. And here, as usual, I'm adding everything in the constructor. Simple keeping. So tell me, if I say here SOP, listen to the question, IJKL, where will I get compiler error? I'm repeating my question. I said SOP, IJKL, where will I get the error? Guys, I asked you little different question and you give me wrong answer. Answer is all. There is no I, there is no J, there is no K, there is no L here. So why did it work at least here? Because B extends from A. B is A and something more. So here that was a trick question. Don't fall prey to trick questions. So here I'm saying, suppose A is state. And if I say, guys, plus I plus J, because you gave me all wrong answer. Majority gave me a wrong answer. And plus K and plus L. Okay, so obviously compiler is going to throw you out saying which I, which J, which K, which L. I don't know anything. So what is it I'll have to do? What is it I'll have to do? Since C is not A, I'll have to create an object of A. So A1 equal to new A. And then meaningful discussion will happen when I say A1 dot I. I'll just copy this. And then your answer would be right. Are you understanding? So don't make the mistake of that object and instance variables and all. So now tell me, which is the only member which cannot be accessed? Here is private member. Why default works? You are in the same package. Why protected works? This is a surprise, especially to C++ programmer. But the reason is, in Java, protected works as default till you are in the same package. Are you understanding me? So everything is fine. And public members are, of course, visible. Are we clear so far? Works same as default in Java, right? Okay. So now all combinations done from the same package. Now let us say I'm stepping into another package. Okay. So SRC package P2. And let's create the example. Okay, I forgot to comment it here. What is the comment? What is the example? Same package, non-subclass. Okay, so now let me go to your P2 and let us create a class there, D. Okay. So what is the example I want to show you? Different package, subclass. So anyone wants to tell me what should be the class definition here? Participate more, enjoy more, understand more. Yes, extends A. Absolutely. So here, the moment you say extends A, you have tons of errors. So tell me, I'm not going to take the cursor there. Anyone wants to tell me why there is a compiler error? Absolutely correct. Guys, now you are trying to access it outside the package. So the first thing is import. You are very right. Import, what should I use import? P1 dot, either I can say star or P1 dot A. But then you have a next level problem. So tell me, why it is not getting imported? That is why. Now you'll realize why I made it this thing default. Guys, I want you to understand. If I myself correct the mistakes, you'll never understand. So what should be made public? The class should be made public. And you know this. The default classes are package private. If you want to access it outside, you have to make it public. I just wanted to recap all the rules. Okay, so come back here. And here you have whatever D extends say. And then I'm just going to copy it from here. Otherwise, we waste too much time writing the same code. So here I'm going to say D and state of D. So tell me, what works and what doesn't? So first of all, private member, not accessible. We are outside the class, outside the package. But what else is also gone? Default members are also not accessible because the boundary of the default is package. Which are the only two members which are accessible? Protected. Why protected works? Whether you are within the package or outside the package, protected is for inheritance. So, can protected members be accessed outside the package in the subclass? Answer is yes. That was my whole point. Protected was a highlighter. And public members are accessible from anywhere. Is everyone clear? Why I and J are not working and K and L still working? I working means still accessible. Are you understanding it, guys? Everyone. And the last combination is, I'll just copy C.Java this and label it as e.java. Let me make the changes there. Okay, so tell me why there is a compiler error. You are trying to access something outside. So first fix is import. See, ID does it all that, but I just wanted to show you all of this. So here, and now tell me, I have corrected rest of it. I have tried to create the object of A here, LHS reference, RHS object. And now tell me, which is the only member which is accessible? Answer is public, L only. Private access, long back gone. Default access specifier the moment you stepped outside the package. Why protected is also not available? Because different package and non-subclass. So you are outside the current package and not related via inheritance. You are this one. What is it? Your protected access specifier doesn't work. And only thing which becomes accessible is the public scope. So this is your confirmation of all access specifiers. So spend a minute here. Of course, we are going to revise the code, but in the lab session. So tell me, is your understanding and the output and the compiler errors, are they all matching? Or is there a question? Questions? Matching with that. Okay. Protected is mainly for inheritance. Absolutely. Only thing is, change from C++ is protected members are accessible in the same package, whether you are related or unrelated. Related, unrelated means inheritance or not. Okay. So this was a small pending topic. Pending because I did not want to take protected before I showed you the inheritance. So do visit day 7.4 and understand, keep that diagram in front of you, that table of access specifiers, and check whether you have the full clarity, but in the lab session. So now at the end of the day, almost we are entering. I was hoping to, have it at least 1.5 hours, but in the initial part, we got little bit derailed. So no problem. So now we are finally entering the topic. So looking at time, we will barely start, but it's a very important topic. All these first week topics are extremely important. So what we are starting with is a exception handling. So let me ask you a question. Still, I have not even shown you any exception handling so far. So here, I'll talk in example. Let me open your assignment. Because, then I can reach you faster. I'll open some assignment. You may have done it, you may not have. Oh, this doesn't have the latest one. Give me a sec. So what was it? Day 6 lab data. Okay. So this was the latest one. Now here my question. You may not have done it. Does not matter. I don't really mind you not doing it. So when you say hire manager, at least can you tell me what are the inputs you expect from the user? I got disconnected because of the network glitch. So I'm back. So here, what I was asking you is a question. I don't know how much you heard. So I'm repeating the question. Instead of giving the basic, which is a salary amount, if the user mistypes and gives it as a some string ABC, what will happen? Answer that. Yeah, error is not sufficient, Yogesh. Never. Give me this, not null pointer, wrong. It will be input mismatch exception. Okay, so there will be a runtime error as a input mismatch exception. And then most importantly, will your code continue or will the code abort? Of course, the code will be aborted. So tell me, do you really want to abort the code or do you want to give the chance to the user for retrying? Answer is you want to give the chance to the user for retrying that these were invalid inputs. Please give the inputs again. So that is the job of exception handling. So when you say exception is nothing but a runtime error. There are two categories of error. If you give a wrong syntax, it is detected by the compiler. So that's your compile time error. But when you talk about exception, are we talking about compile time error or runtime error? Answer is we are talking about runtime error. So what is it you are going to learn today, tomorrow in exception handling? You are going to, this I will start right away. So you are going to understand the flow. Everything is in the flow. If you understand how that exception handling works, you will understand it easily. And then I'm going to show you which are the important classes in exception handling, something like throwable, exception, runtime exception, etc. And a popular question is checked exceptions versus unchecked exceptions. So all of that will be, I'll explain it to you. And then you have couple of keywords to learn. So those who are coming to me from C++ would know some of the keywords. So there is something called as try catch, try block and a catch block. Then you will be hearing a keyword throws, throw, finally, and something you will understand, try with resources. And then you will understand the difference between built-in exceptions, which JVM already Java API, Java libraries give you. And then we will start, this will happen definitely tomorrow. I'm just going to barely start the topic. And then custom exception and all, you will understand how to create a user-defined exception and throw it to the code. So these are the topics which you are going to learn under exception handling. So when you look at today's help, which I'll share in the lab session, in the lunch break I meant, you have a separate folder, exception handling. And these are chapter 5 exception are the full-fledged, proper PPTs. Here also exception handling. And these are the additional readmes. I'll tell you what to go through. So the first thing is here. This is what I'm going to follow. This exception handling readme, I'm going to follow throughout. So here, first question, whenever you are learning any new topic is why. So why exception handling? To allow, even after user gives you wrong inputs, invalid inputs, or in case of any runtime errors, you want to continue the execution of the code. You don't want to abort the code. So that is why you are learning exception handling. And the second reason is when you learn the try block and the catch block and all, it will give you a clear-cut separation between business logic and the error handling logic. But all these statements you won't understand unless until you write something. So first, I always discuss the flow. So here there is a picture, there's a flow chart which will tell you the exception handling flow. So let's understand that. And once you understand, then I can write some code sample to tell you. So this is a added. Everything I cannot give me in the writing. So please make a note of somewhere. You have to, everyone has to go through this particular diagram as a reading exercise. Okay, so start. So when I say exception handling, who is going to handle these exceptions? It is going to be your main thread, which is going to call the main method. So JRE means JVM's main thread is going to do this entire job of exception handling. When we write our multi-threaded applications, adding multiple threads, those user-defined threads will take over. So currently it is only main thread. Now read this carefully. If you're not paying attention, some of them are missing. I can see only 218. Actual batch size is more. So I don't know why you're logging off. Today was a lesser time also. Anyway, coming back on the chat. Any runtime error occurs. Any runtime is the trigger for entire flow to happen. So unless until you understand the example, you can't really get it. So you are trying to divide the number by 0. Okay, or you are trying to access the array out of its capacity. So array is a fixed size. It has a size of, let's say, 10, and you are trying to access beyond its capacity, or you have a null reference and you are trying to access the data member or method member. All these errors you have seen. Later, when I take you to file handling, you are trying to read the data from a file and file is not existing. Or in socket programming, in networking, you are trying to, it is the client who tries to establish the connection to the server, and maybe server is down. So unable to establish the connection with the server. So tell me, what are these examples of compile time errors or runtime errors? C or R? These are all runtime errors. Okay. So now you'll see I have exactly matched it here. So who is going to handle the exceptions, or who is going to manage this flowchart? Java compiler or Java runtime? Answer is Java runtime. That is your JVM. So to be precise, main thread. Main thread will check what type of a error is there. So suppose it is, I'll take one by one example. Suppose it is divided by 0. For each and every type of error, there is a built-in Java API library class. So what will your JVM do? It will check what is the type of the runtime error, and it will create the instance of that specific matching exception class. So now is the time you add an example. So if it is division by 0, which is the corresponding exception class, I have not written the packages, java.lang.arithmetic exception. If you are trying to access array out of its size, this everyone knows, which is the exception you get, array index out of bounds exception. If you are trying to access anything with a null reference, which is the most common exception you get, null pointer exception. If you are trying to access a file, read the file and which doesn't exist, you will see in Java IO, I mean Java.io topic, IO handling, file not found exception. If the client is unable to establish the connection with the server, you have java.net connect exception. So I'm not asking you to remember all these names. Just keep one or two with you. If it is divided by 0, which is the exception which will be instantiated, which is the exception class which will be used, arithmetic. And if you are trying to access something with null, a null pointer. Okay. So now is the second step. So come to the next step. That's why I've drawn it as a flowchart. So here, JVM is going to invoke a keyword called as throw. Everyone knows English word throw. So when I say throw, what is the meaning of throw keyword? Throw means JVM has encountered the error. So JVM is going to throw the exception in the code. So what is the syntax of this throw keyword? Throw followed by instance of the exception class. So let me understand. Let me make you understand. If it is a arithmetic, if it is a divide by 0, which is the exception class, arithmetic exception. So see the syntax. This is what internally JVM will call. So what it will call? Throw. And for instantiation, which is the keyword we use? New keyword, followed by the name of the class. So which is the name of the class? For division by 0, arithmetic exception. And this is the error message it will provide. So look at this. Anytime runtime error occurs, what will JVM do? JVM will create the instance of that exception class and it will throw to the code. It will raise. Throwing means raising the exception, generating the exception. So this was first step. I mean, this was the example. This was the explanation, and this is what it internally does. Now, further step. I'm going to show you with a code example in a minute. So after that, JVM will check, has programmer supplied any exception handler? So tell me, have we written any exception handler such as try catch block so far? It's a Boolean question, yes or no? Answer is no. So we go to this no branch. We have been in this no branch. So if you don't supply any exception handler, what will happen? Will code continue or will it abort the code? A or C? Of course, JVM aborts the code. And when it aborts the code, what are the details it gives you for debugging? The name of the exception class, the details, which could be division by 0, and entire stack trace. You remember stack consists of stack frames. So all the information, which is the exact location where the exception actually occurred, the entire information will be printed. So tell me, what is our objective? Do you want to abort the code or do you want the continuation of the code? Of course, we want the continuation of the code. So we want to be in this yes branch. So what is it we are going to do is, soon we are going to write our exception handler. How? There's a simple try and catch block, try keyword and a catch keyword. Okay. And then whenever the error occurs, whenever the runtime error occurs, you will see that try block will be still aborted. JVM will start executing the matching catch block. What is all this? You will understand with example. And after the catch block is nothing but exception handling block. After the exception is all serviced, that is handled, will code continue or will code abort? Simple question, simple answer. Of course, the remaining part of the code continues. So this is what is the basic flow diagram of exception handling. Okay, so this is what you have to just make it, keep noting things when I say this. So important reading homework is go through this exception handling flow diagram, and a description of this is here in README. So this is what is, this is what is already supplied. Okay, so now I can't write the code before telling you inheritance hierarchy of exception related classes. So mark this slide also as a very important one. So first one you are going to go through for preparing, for understanding tomorrow's topic. The two things you have to go through is exception handling flow and exception classes inheritance hierarchy. So I'm showing you that. So title says it clearly, inheritance hierarchy for exception handling classes. So tell me, which is the ultimate universal superclass of all Java classes? Same question I asked you 20 times. Of course, object. So where is this object in this picture? Above throwable. But why I have not drawn that object? Because object is not the part of exception handling hierarchy. So here correctly, what is the root class? Which is the ultimate, which is the super class for all exception handling related stuff? It is java.lang is the package and the name of the class is throwable. Again, popular question. Explain inheritance hierarchy for exception handling. So this much you have to know. I'll tell you which are the important classes. So which is the root class for exception handling? Throwable. Throwable has two subclasses. What are the two subclasses? One is error and one is exception. If you have opened the Java docs, you search for throwable in that search box. And from throwable, you will see there are two subclasses. One is error class and one is exception class. So first focus on error. When you say error class, this error represents fatal or uncatchable, unrecoverable errors. Example, stack overflow. If you have written the recursive code without correct exit path, or out of memory. Okay, so such errors, or there is something called as IO error, socket error, internal error, and all that. So tell me, if your code has such a fatal error and you have added the code in that try catch block, means exception handling block, can the code recover or can it not? So can you recover from error? Answer is no. Even after adding the try catch block, it is unrecoverable code. So that is why I'm not explaining the error branch. So for all technical purposes, our main superclass for all exception related classes is exception. So here, this is where you focus. I'll repeat the last statement again. Tomorrow anyway, in revision time, I'll do that. So errors are uncatchable, unrecoverable, fatal errors. Even after adding the try catch block, you cannot recover from them. So I'm not discussing that error part here. All I'm discussing is exception and below. So which is the hierarchy? Throwable, extended by exception. Now the third important class. The subclass of exception is runtime exception. Okay. So now listen to the statement carefully. Any Java class which extends from runtime exception, which is below this hierarchy, is called as unchecked exception category. I'll repeat the important statement here. Any classes which extend from whose superclass is runtime exception, are they called as checked exceptions or unchecked exceptions? C or UC? Answer is unchecked exception. And all these examples which you have seen so far, for example, null pointer exception, arithmetic exception, array index out of bounds exception, class cast exception, input mismatch exception, number format exceptions are all these. Okay. And there is another category which is called a checked exception category. So tell me, if your exception is not extending from runtime exception, what will you call it? Checked or unchecked? C or UC? Of course, it is a unchecked exception. So guys, please open Java docs. I'm going to ask you, but looking at time, what is the difference between checked and unchecked? We are going to discuss tomorrow because there is a less time for that today. So please open your API docs and search for something called as input mismatch exception. So here you just say input MI or whatever, you will get this. Take a look at hierarchy and tell me, is it a checked exception or is it an unchecked exception? See, this is that inheritance hierarchy. Once you look at that, it should take you half a second to answer. C as in check, UC unchecked. Which one it is? Of course, it is unchecked exception. Why people are saying it is unchecked exception? Trace the hierarchy. Sorry, too big. So here, see this. Everything starts from object, extended by throwable, extended by exception, and extended by runtime. Are you getting it? So any class which extends from runtime, what is it? Checked or unchecked exception? It is a unchecked exception. Search more. Look for your null pointer. So you'll get java.lang.null pointer exception. Take a look at it and tell me, checked or unchecked? It's a simple question. Once you have Java docs, you can answer so many things. Of course, it is unchecked. The other one, array index out of bounds. Look at the hierarchy and tell me, checked or unchecked. Everyone can understand it. The moment you see as one of the superclasses, it is extending indirectly, of course, because there are some in-between classes, whether directly or indirectly, I don't care. As long as it is extending from runtime exception, mark it, understand it as the unchecked exception. Okay. Now look at your class cast. I'm just showing you. There's a class cast exception. Take a look at it and respond fast. Checked or unchecked. You can see the moment you have runtime, of course, unchecked. What was that? Arithmetic exception. So if you see java.lang.arithmetic exception, again, it is an unchecked one. You got me? Now, here, look for interrupted exception. There's a exception called as interrupted exception. What is that and all together, all tomorrow? So take a look at it and tell me, checked or unchecked. It is a checked exception. Everyone gets it? Look at this. IO, there's something called as, you are going to understand this in, of course, Java IO. Tell me, IO exception, checked or unchecked? You got that? It is not having any runtime exception class as the super class. So it is definitely a checked one. The other one, file not found. See that? When you say file not found exception, take a look at it, checked or unchecked. Pretty easy. Once you see the Java, it doesn't take any brains to answer. Of course, check. I talked about that. Connect exception somewhere. So java.net.connect exception, tell me, checked or unchecked? It is a checked one. So guys, don't feel scared that do I have to remember all these names? Of course not. Which are the important class name everyone should have in front of their mind is throwable, error, exception, and runtime exception. And then, of course, important ones have null pointer, arithmetic exception, etc. So, what is the difference between the two? I have given it in writing. So here, actually, the difference is like a one-liner. Later, you'll get a feel of it. So, read these statements line by line. But actual difference we are going to write by writing multiple classes all tomorrow. I'll just show you a simple example today. So read this. Whether you talk about checked or unchecked, the moment you say exception, is it a compile time error or is it a runtime error? So whether it is a checked exception or unchecked exception, when they will be detected or when they will be occurring at compile time or runtime? Of course, in runtime. All with me? Now the next important, all these are popular questions. So who distinguishes, who does not distinguish means differentiate. Who does not differentiate and who differentiates? Answer is JVM, that is your runtime system, does not differentiate between them. But who is going to differentiate between them? Answer is compiler. And you will see that it is the compiler. Only one statement I am asking you to remember. Compiler forces the handling of the checked exceptions to the programmer. And compiler does not force the handling of the unchecked exceptions. So what is the meaning of this statement? I can't finish it in next 2-3 minutes. So this is what our starting topic will be tomorrow. But before we disperse, before we take a lunch break, I want to write at least one example. So I'm showing you the syntax. Those who know C++, of course, similar syntax. So here, this is your try block. So try is a keyword where you have a block. And when you say block, you have a curly braces, right? And then, can you write try block on its own? Of course not. Try block has to be ended with a corresponding catch block. So we'll just write a 2-liner, 3-liner code, and that is where we will stop. So I'm just handling one of these syntaxes. Rest all, we are going to continue in tomorrow's session. So before we disperse, so what I'll do is, I will just pick up. I don't want to write a separate one. So I'll just continue because I'm going to write exactly one sample, one code sample. So here I'm creating day 7.4 SRC, some class. Let me call it as tester. And here test exception handling. So you just focus on whatever I'm writing. Okay, so take a look at this, please. Just writing something. You can't start a very identifier with a semicolon, you know that. Okay. And here I'll somewhere write main over. So observe and conclude. So tell me, is there any compiler error here? First question, compile time error or no error? Answer is no error. Okay. So tell me. So next question is runtime error or the output? Everyone knows runtime error. Which line number, please? Line number, please. Line number 8. And runtime error means exception. So just now I told you, which is the exception you expect to see here? You remember the name, arithmetic exception. So java.lang.arithmetic exception. So who is going to check for these exceptions? Who is going to actually throw these exceptions? Compiler or runtime? Of course, runtime. And what will JVM call internally? I showed you in that flowchart. It will say throw new and this exception along with the error message. So my question to you all is, will you see this main over or you won't? Will this appear or will it not appear? Main over. Of course, it won't appear because have we added any exception handling code so far? Of course not. So is the code going to continue to main over or is it going to get aborted? Answer is aborted. Confirm. Simple examples I'm giving you. So it is saying that there are some other compilers, not in this, that access specifier. So I'm just saying proceed. And I hope there is no ambiguity and all that. C. So tell me, who is producing all this output? The default exception handler. So see this. When you don't write a constructor, Java compiler gives you the constructor. In the same tune, when you don't write any exception handler, means try-catch block, who will supply the default handler? JVM. And what is the job of the JVM's default handler? It will abort the code, but it will give you the very important information. So what is it you are looking at? The name of the exception is arithmetic exception. What are we looking at? The detailed error message, the cause of the error, division by 0. And this is that stack trace where you get to know on which line error occurred. So tell me, are we adding our own exception handler or is your JVM is giving you the default exception handler? Answer is JVM is supplying. So let us change that situation and stop immediately. So now, how do you apply it? You identify which is the vulnerable code. Vulnerable means error-prone code and wrap it in a try block. So what is the syntax? Those who are looking at it for the first time, try is a keyword, space or you don't give space, that is okay. And here starts a block. And what I'm doing here is I'm ending the block here. So, but if you write only try, you'll get a compiler error. Try block cannot exist on its own. So what is it I'll have to supply, guys? I'll have to write a catch block. And which is the, you can simply say CAT and control space. It will give you. But here, I don't want to do that immediately. Which is the exception which is coming from here is arithmetic exception. So see the syntax. Half of you get, feel confused in the syntax. So observe. I'll just hear it. I'll just write it and then exception occurred. Okay, so focus your last minute on the syntax. Here, I have wrapped this code within. Okay, I'll write one more. So, you will have the clarity on the first day itself. Okay, so take a look at the whatever code sample, two-liner code sample. So this is where I've declared two operands. This is what is definitely going to cause your arithmetic exception. So tell me the flow. When I say arithmetic exception, who is going to raise this exception? Compiler or JVM? Answer is JVM. So JVM will actually call internally throw new arithmetic exception. So answer that. Will you see end of try? Will this line get executed or not executed? Answer is this won't get executed because if you remember, the entire try block gets aborted. But now, where will your JVM enter? It has raised the exception. So now JVM will check, is there any matching catch? Is there any matching exception handler? So see the syntax. Keyword is catch. In the argument, you give the reference of the exception and then you write some error message or exception handling message. So tell me, is this a matching exception handler or not? Matching or not matching? Of course it is matching. Why? Because arithmetic exception is raised and I have got arithmetic exception. So tell me, will you see exception occurred? Will that be printed? Of course, yes. And the very important question is, will the code continue? In short, will it print main over or you can say code continues? I'll write this, just to indicate code continues. So will you see this code continues or will it get aborted? Of course, you will see code continues. Confirm, and that is all we'll do for today. So I hope you understood this. Understanding the flow of exception handling and checked versus unchecked and all is really important. So you understood the flow completely. So here exception took place. Exception was raised using that throw keyword. It aborted the entire try block, entered the matching catch, executed the exception handler, and code simply continued. So a last question before we disperse. Anyone wants to tell me what will happen now? What will happen means what will be output. So tell me, will this line survive or will it not? I mean, will there be any exception or no exception? Answer is no exception. 100 divided by 10. Why should there be error? So you will see result equal to 10. You got me? Next one. Are you going to see this end of try? Lot of question people ask you. Yeah, somebody had written me. So of course you will see. Will you see this message? Will it enter? Will the JVM enter this catch block? Of course not. There's no error. So why should it enter? So are you going to see exception occurred? Of course not. Exception from the norm. Now it is a normal flow of control. There is no change in the flow of control. And will you see code continues? 100% yes. So I have just taken both the examples in case of error as in case of exception versus no exception. So this is your normal flow of control. So this revision and much more, lot of more topics will cover tomorrow. So this is where, of course, I'm stopping. And I will join your lab session. I'll upload everything properly. I'll join your lab session. And today onwards, till I get the feel that you are going ahead, you are understanding, 20-25 minutes, initial ones, you are going to spend with me in revision of the code which we have written together, important code samples, and then we will do the rest of the things such as assignments, pending work and all that. Okay, so that will be all. See you directly in the lab session. Is there a question? No, there's no question. Okay, so see you around 3:30 or something. That will be all.